We are back with another episode of Going Live with the MC. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little excited about today's guest. I've been, I want to say about a year I've been in tune with them, and I've been seeing what they've been up to, and it's been very impressive. I got to say that for sure. Just a quick recap. On Wednesday we had Meet Spady online, and we talked about a lot, from religion to music to fatherhood. It was a whole bunch of topics. Unfortunately, the episode was deleted by Instagram itself. Would you believe that? Yeah, like right, I think probably about 5 minutes or 10 minutes before I was about to end the episode, it just blanked out. I don't know what that was about. Anyways, so in this particular episode today, we have a New York legend in the making by the name of Kulu. Some of you guys are probably familiar with her. If you're not, please use today's episode to do so and familiarize yourself. We're waiting for her to tune in real quick, and I will be adding her to the chat in a second. Yeah, I know the rules are ready though. Once you got that question, you tap that little question mark in the bottom of your screen and you ask your question. If you ask it in the comments, I may lose it and I may not be able to search up and find it. So if you put it in the questions tab, it makes it that much easier for me to access it. So thank you guys for all tuning in. We're waiting on Kaya Kulu to join us, and I'm going to be sending this live out to a few people as well. So just stay tuned, give us a few seconds, and everything will get rolling. How y'all feeling today, though? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what y'all feeling today. Again, we got a very special guest. I'm excited to have her, so this is going to be dope. Give me 1 second. Let me just finish sharing this to a couple people, and we'll get started. I, by the way, am feeling great this week. I'll be honest with you. This is probably this is day 6 for me of no tree. Yep, no urge, no nothing. I'm not gonna lie, yesterday was a little tempting. There was too many people outside, and I was like, nah, gotta get home. So I was like fanning clouds and moving, like, the wind wasn't working like it was the whole January. So I was kind of upset about that, and there was just too many people outside doing it. Which is crazy because, the first few days, I didn't really witness that. So, yeah, shout out to you, Nickel. I'm doing good. And yourself? I feel great. Thanks for tuning in. We are just waiting for our guest, Miss Kaya Kulu, to join in. In the meantime, March 22nd, I have my first performance of the year. I decided to wait and perform. I didn't want to just jump in like right in January, like, hey guys, I'm back outside. I just performed in December. So I was like, you know what? Let me let the spotlight breathe. Somebody else needs it. So shout out to you, Mr. JT. Thanks for tuning in, my brother. I love the new freestyle that you just did. Definitely fire. It's not a freestyle, it's a song. Sorry. Let me give you your proper respects. I love the new song. Yes, definitely. And nope, it's not in yet. Okay. Yes, definitely. You guys tune in, stay tuned in. We're getting to it. We're getting to it, man. I don't do resolutions, but what's something you guys are excited for this year? What's something that's keeping you driven in the mode this year? Shout out to Small Business Mom, is always tuning in, very supportive person. Listen, she has a business herself. That's the reason why her name is Small Business Mom. So make sure y'all tap in with her, check out what she does. She will be a guest on the show at some point next month or whenever she's ready. But, we here. Again, we're just waiting for Kaya Kulu to join in. Those of you that are here, I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is probably the first time where I've had people tune in right away. So I appreciate that. Yes, fire all year. That's a fact. Fire all year. We not slowing down. Foot on the gas. Again, just a reminder to everybody that's in here, if you have any questions, there's a question mark down at the bottom of your screen. Please ask it there because it will get lost in the chat. I'm trying to read comments as they pop up, but I may not have time to scroll up and down through the chat, so it'll be very, very helpful if you click that question mark at the bottom and you ask it there. That way, it's easier. Let's see what's going on. Hold on, let's get our guest in the chat. It's crazy. That song been stuck in my head. I got to see Kaya Kulu perform on Thursday. I think it was like my first time actually seeing her live, and shorty didn't disappoint. She definitely She definitely didn't disappoint. Yeah, we're just waiting for her to join in the chat, and everything will get started. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like being live by myself. Like looking at myself and talking to people is kind of weird. But yeah, first question is in. Wow, I like this. Well, she's not in yet, so maybe she'll answer this when she gets in. But for me, one thing I learned in the past year as an artist, I would say is to stand on business. Say what you mean and mean what you say. I've realized that once I started like doing simple things, like somebody say my name wrong, I correct them right on the spot. If somebody try to cut my music short, I'll let them know straight up, hey, I got a 15-minute set, not a 13-minute set, and so on and so forth. Just letting people know that you're not to be played with, you know what I'm saying? And you can't be afraid to do it. That's the thing. A lot of people are like, oh, but I don't want to, But no. Some people have to know that you're serious about your craft and you're coming for everything that you deserve. So appreciate that question. And I'm definitely going to ask that when Kaya tunes in. Mine is I left Negative Peeps in 2024. You should have left them alone a long time ago. Like, no disrespect, but and not saying that this is your thing, but I realize a lot of people, they wait until the end of the year to cut people off. So that's another thing that I learned as well too last year. Cut people off in the moment. When you realize they need to be cut off, boom, bye-bye. You know what I'm saying? We don't do none of that waiting around until the ball drop. So y'all drop the ball, not me. That's how we move on that. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm really just waiting on Kaya Kulu to join in. As soon as she joins in, we'll be good. What about you guys? What have you learned since last year? Small Business Mama says she let negative people behind. What did you learn as an artist, Mr. JT? What about you, Nickel? Oh, okay, my bad. In that case, anyways, like you said, my fault. No judgments. I'm just listening. Yeah, this is dope. All right, guys, we're going to give it about a few more minutes, wait for her to tune in. She did message me and say she was going to be a little bit behind, so it's okay. You learn a lot in the interviews. I learn a lot in the interviews. Like, I'm a student just like you. I sit here sometimes and I'm just like, damn, like, these people are really educated. These people are really, like, professional. And, the interesting thing about every single one of my guests, we're all just regular people. No one here is a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? No one is too good for the game, no one is bigger than the world, so and I love that about the people that I have coming through, they definitely hold it down as their own, and they're proud to do what they're doing. It's definitely not it's not, how would you say, it's not like a hobby. Like, you don't do it for fun, so shout out to my guy Brandon Thoughts in the building. Oh, let's read some of these comments. Stand on business. Don't hold back your greatness. Don't ever be insecure about your worth or your potential. That right there, Mr. JT, that right there, because when you don't know your worth or potential, or you scared to like let it be shown, people will trample over you. So thanks for saying that. Put actions to ideas. Otherwise, it's still just dreams. Wow, that one was interesting. Wow. I've actually been learning to write down a lot of stuff. Like when they pop into my head, I'll write it down. And a lot of times I push myself to actually do it, so that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Kaya Kulu has been beasting for a minute. And guess who just walked in the chat as I read that comment? It's Kaya Kulu. So guys, let's get our guests into the chat. Thank you guys again for all your comments. Stay tuned with us as I invite no ages, you know? Wisdom knows no age. Just cause in the building. Yeah. What up, though? I'm loving the energy. This is a dope live. Hey,
Hey.
what's up? Everybody, welcome Kaya Kulu in the building. How you feeling today?
I am exhausted, but I'm well. I'm blessed to be alive. We here, we alive. Voice kind of on like, but
Nah, you
we,
spazzed out on Thursday, so I don't know what you thought you was gonna wake up today with a good voice. You spazzed, so
bruh, I woke up yesterday and I had to teach, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. How am I gonna tell these kids to like put that down and stop touching this and that?
right, right. Now I know how that goes. Trust me. I actually used to work with kids. I want to say probably about 8, 9 years ago.
For
The
real.
only reason why, sorry,
I said, for real?
yeah, sure. I was a group leader at the PAL, but the only reason why, well, two reasons. And I don't want it to sound like money, but they never promoted me. Like, and I clearly deserved it. I earned it in every right, but they just never promoted me. So it is what it is. Shout out to GFB Fresh, King Jewel Official, for real, Munreal. For real, I'm sorry if I say that. For real, I'm unreal. God damn. You almost messed me up. Um, Shout out to y'all for tuning in. We definitely got a dope guest right here, Kaya Kulu. So let's just jump straight into it. On Thursday, when you performed at the Paramount Hotel, dope venue by the way,
Yeah, that's
um,
right. Yeah, shout out Breaking Sound.
you mentioned that you've been doing this your entire life. So at what age did you get into the performing arts?
Uh, three, to be very real.
At
Three,
3?
three.
That's interesting. How does that work for a 3-year-old? Like, I know your attention span is like goldfish level, so how does that work?
No, that's a fact, and I definitely have ADHD. So like, oh my God, I can remember my mom playing Earth, Wind and Fire records, Luther Vandross, and a bunch of Whitney Houston, a bunch of Michael Jackson. I'm like, I want to do this. And she was like, yeah, you don't even know what you want to eat for dinner. And I was just like, well, I want to do this. So three, I would just sing around the house. I would bang on this piano that we had. We had a stand piano that was like in my family for years, and I would like try to figure songs out. I had no piano lessons, no vocal lessons, but I was just like, if I can imitate the sound that comes out of this person's mouth on key. All right, bet. Then we can do something here.
I thought you was
And then
about to start singing just
what
now.
happened?
I thought she was about to start singing just
Oh
now.
no, that throat said, you ain't even warm up. I'm not warmed up. My voice is like, I don't know what's gonna come out today. But yeah, I would sing around the house. I would sing Aretha Franklin. And one day my aunt was like, she called my mom because I was staying with her. She was like, no, come listen to your child. And like
Mm.
I'm singing and she's hearing me on the phone and she's like, "Oh, okay, we have a problem." And my dad put me in ballet classes and like a whole bunch of stuff. So I've been doing it since then, not seriously because I had to grow into it for real. I had to like figure out, all right, am I going to be disciplined and focused enough to, keep this up? And what does this come with? How does that work? So, yeah. At 21, I made the decision. I said, all right, I'm gonna stop fucking around. Excuse my language, but I'm gonna stop fucking around and I'm gonna do the thing.
So at 3 years old, you were just hobbying it all the way to 21. It
Kind
was
of,
just a
sort
hobbyist thing.
of,
That's
especially because like my mom was African and I grew up in an African household. She was like, you
mm.
can either be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a writer, or a disgrace to the family.
Why are those the only options we have, man?
I don't know. I'll never
You
know.
my uncle was the same way. He was like, "Nah, you're not gonna be a rapper, doctor, lawyer, judge." And I was like, "Look, dude, I could rap. Like, this is what I want to do. Like,
Right.
yeah." But no, it was easy. I wouldn't say easy, but it was fairly easy. I know a lot of people spend years trying to convince their older their guiders. Oh, what is that word? My fault.
Yeah.
Guardians. Sorry.
That was
Yeah,
okay.
they spend years trying to convince them. But me, I sent them like 2 videos. Like that's what it was, the videos that did it. If he would like, I sent them links and he didn't listen to it. But when he saw the videos of the songs that I sent, he was like, "Oh, okay,
Oh, you
see what
really
you're doing."
about it.
You feel me? So um, that brings me to my next question. A nice little segue. Um, you mentioned that your family was very supportive of this. And they threw it a little extra. You could be a writer as well too. I thought I like that. How did that make you feel growing up and realizing that this is what you wanted to do and you had your family behind you?
Oh, they weren't behind me. My dad was.
Oh,
My
my
dad
bad. Well, I
was.
mean that still
I
counts.
mean,
That still counts.
yeah, it does count because my dad, I'm a big daddy's girl. My dad, he put me in ballet classes. Anything that I did, I was very shy to dance or sing in front of him, but when he saw it, he was just like, I know what to do. You
Mm.
need to be on a stage somewhere doing this, and I need to be in the audience to watch you and, like, you be in your zone and not worried about, do this little dance for your family or whatever. Like, he kind of
Shout
saw
out
the,
to Father Kulu.
right? My
Yeah.
mom, she had my back later in her life. She started
Right.
having my back later in her life when I started doing background vocalist gigs for other people, when I started to appear on TV. She was like, "Oh, okay." I'm glad she saw it, but at first it was a bit of a struggle. And that definitely would put me in places where I would be like, well, I have to choose between upsetting my mom or making myself feel at peace. And I'm not gonna hold you, I chose myself. I chose
I like that.
myself.
I like that. And I'm glad that you brought that up. Because we're always going to disappoint our parents, when we don't do what they want us to do. And I'm an uncle. I'm not a parent yet, but I
Same.
always tell, my younger ones, I tell them all the time, I got to find something to get into. But I don't want to like narrow it down to one thing and give them that, pressure of facing expectation. So it's more like whatever you want to do, whatever you find that fits you, sure. I'm not gonna lie, there are some certain parameters, like if they like it's a lot of girls, so they're all into like makeup and nails and stuff. I'm like, yo, that can't be the only thing. Like it's cool if I want to do it. It can't be the only thing, it's like small. So I like the fact that your father was very involved in helping you overcome everything, your obstacles on the way up, because again, a lot of us don't have family support,
Right.
and my mom, similar to yours, I don't think I really shared much with my mom, but when I finally did, it wasn't like a struggle. She was just kind of like, oh, if this is what you're doing, I like it, and but I think it became more real for her when I invited her to my first performance.
Oh,
Yeah, so when she was in the crowd and watching me perform and seeing like everyone like really show me love and stuff, she was like, oh, okay, I see what you've been doing this whole time. Like, so that was a good
that's
feeling.
beautiful.
And I'm happy that you have that as well.
Thank you.
Um, I feel like you kind of answered this a little bit, but on Thursday, I'm gonna keep saying on Thursday because it's
That's
recent.
fine.
But so to everyone that's in the chat, I got to watch her for the first time live on Thursday. I don't think I've ever seen you live before that, so it was really dope for me. I'm glad that I was there.
Thank you
Um,
for being there.
your confidence on stage is like supernatural. Um, and what I like most about it was that we was in a hotel, so them people there, they didn't have to pay attention. They could have just kept going about whatever they were doing. And you was like, nope, I'm Kaya Kulu, I'm outside, this is what I'm doing. I need y'all to sing along, okay? And like everyone, like I was looking around, so I'm like, okay, who gonna sing around, when it's come on? So I saw a few people, trying to catch the words and stuff. Um, but you didn't let none of that stop you. You kept going throughout your whole set. So talk about your confidence. Where does that come from?
Oh, that's a long road, but the short answer of that is not letting outside forces disturb my calm. Just remember
Mm.
who I am and who I've been called to be. Uh,
Do you ever get nervous?
I do get nervous. I do get nervous. Oh my God, I get nervous like crazy, especially when it comes to performing.
Mm.
But one thing, I'm a theater kid formerly, so
Mm.
at,
That makes sense.
yeah, at points it was very easy for me to be like, oh, it's not really me. I'm playing a role, but like now it's really me. Like now I'm being myself, and if that means I have to be vulnerable, then I will be, with discretion, of course, but I will be vulnerable. And if that means I have to share pieces of myself and remind people of their power while I'm reminding myself of my own in that moment, then here I am.
That's dope. That's dope. Shout out to everybody that's tuning into the live. I appreciate your attendance. If you have any questions, there is a question mark at the bottom of your screen. Please ask it all there. If you ask it in the comment section, I may lose it because, as you can see, the screen is divided, so it's only so much scrolling I can do. But if you put it there, I'll see every single question or comment. Whatever you want to leave there is right there for you. So I appreciate that. Shout out to Bloody Prince. Moving on. Um, all of these questions are not exactly formulated around Thursdays, just more so I'm very observant. And you've probably seen it, like a lot of
Yes.
times you'll post stuff and I'll be like commenting on it or whatever. That's just how I am in person. I do that for everybody. I like to watch the journey. I'm interested in what people post and stuff. Like, some people are consumed by social media. I want to know what brings you here. Like, what are you using this platform for? You know, um, so I wanted to know, would you ever do a live album? Because most of the times I see you perform, you have a live band behind you.
Well, first of all, before I get to the answer is yes. Yeah. But before I really get into that, I want to say I appreciate how genuine you are in your observations, like how we could dead have a conversation and it's like some real stuff. So like, thank you, because mad people, they just don't do that a lot anymore. It's like, what brings you here is a very good question. So thank you
I'll be
for always
honest.
being observant,
I'll be
and thank you
honest.
for being
No, no doubt, no doubt. That's what I like to do for other people. I like to show them that they have an audience. But I think it's difficult for me when it comes to women in general because, like a lot of women, like they'll see that attention. Like I may even hard eyes a few things, but that's genuine because I love what I
right,
see, ironically.
right.
So they tend to think that I'm like flirting or something like that, and someone that will block me or unfollow me or do just weird shit. And I'm just
It's
like, why? Like,
not that deep.
yeah,
Just
it's really
it
not.
is
Like, and you can tell because I'm not like, yo, so what you doing today? Or like, yo,
right,
set between an
right.
eye, or like, I'm not doing none of that weird shit. I'm just like, yo, I like what I
None of the
see.
goofy. It's not goofy, right? So thank
100%.
you for being genuine and not goofy. But yes, I would drop a live album. I would. I've actually contemplated it for a hot minute. So who knows?
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Speaking of dropping an album, how come you only have one project?
You want the truth or you want the sparkle
I
truth?
want whatever you're willing to share, because I
The
need to know.
sparkle truth is I'm busy. The truth is I have procrastinated. I have procrastinated so much. I've actually done so many side quests and I've been focusing on those. Like I was
Mm,
background singing for artists at one point. Not to say that that should have stopped me, but I was definitely like, oh my God, consumed. I gotta learn this music.
I feel that.
I was
I
definitely
feel
doing.
that. I definitely feel that. Do you feel like being busy is kind of like an obstacle that you can overcome, or is it going to be like something that's just kind of like you just have to tell people that, to like make yourself feel good?
Um, I think I'll overcome that. I think I will actually learn to make the time for the things that I know I want to make the time for, and that I
Mm.
know, like
Um,
I'm taking this break because of that. I'm just like, yeah, I gotta put me first.
mm, I feel that. I feel that. And me personally, nothing against you, but I absolutely hate the word busy. And
You hate
why?
the word
Because
what? I didn't
the
hear.
word busy, like I hate that word. Like
Really?
it just gives like unavailable, like just not interested, kind of, and that's a traumatic thing for me. Like it comes like, from the past, like a lot of times I would like first off, I grew up in a family where it's like, how can I say this? I mean, I think you could probably agree. So our parents were kind of like just guessing and going as they went along. It's like, okay, we got a kid. How do we raise this kid? Okay, we found out how to stop them from crying. Now we got to figure out how to get them dressed. Now we got to figure out how to feed them, what type of foods they like, or what they like. Everything was like like a guessing game kind of thing, like just trying to figure out where to go. But we're in an age where we pretty much know a lot of stuff, like our previous generation sat down and took time to like explain certain things, they show us certain things, we were raised certain ways, you know. So a lot of times, there would be people, that I would invite, like especially when I started my music career, and they would just be like, "Oh, I'm busy," or "I can't do it. I got this to do," and it's like there was no real context between that. It was just I'm busy, and it's like, what is that? And then on the flip side, when I became an artist and started doing what I was doing, Like even my mom to this day, she'll be like, "Oh, I don't call you because I assume you're busy," and I'm like, "What is that?" Like,
Mhm.
like, but I'm like the most available person. Like a lot of people will call me, I pick up on like the second ring. I don't do it on purpose, but like if you call me, I'm gonna pick up. If you message me, I'm gonna respond right away. Like I want people to know that there are people out there that's available. Like you don't, and also, I'll come across people who apologize a lot for like late responses, but I'm like, bro, like if you're busy, not busy, sorry, if you're occupied, you're occupied. You feel me? So yeah, it's kind of weird when people say that or move around that way. Not to you,
No, no, no,
just
no. I didn't take that personally at all. That's actually a pretty interesting perspective that you bring up. Like, again, the power of words and what they mean and how they show up in our lives and how we use them, how other people have used them around us. I could kind of understand the trauma behind people saying, "Oh, I'm busy," kind of giving like that empty, non-open-ended answer is very absolute. It's like, "Ah, I'm busy. I don't got time for you." It could go with so many different things. Whereas someone saying, "Hey, I'm not available this day," or "I'm occupied."
that
I
part.
understand that full all too well.
No, I appreciate that. So we got a couple of questions from the people watching. Mr.
Oh,
JT, Mr.
wow.
JT Music.
Oh,
I know you're definitely familiar with him. He says, "What's one thing you learned as an artist in the past year?"
haha. Mm. To trust your ideas and to take care of your human self, because if your human self is not well, your artist self can't be well.
That's deep. That's important, actually. Very important.
Lord,
Uh, I definitely had an experience recently. Not recent, but something that was, prevalent. Um, Next question. This comes from Nickel Pass. Shout out. She's a dope artist as well from the UK.
hello.
So we got the UK in the chat.
What up, you?
Um, she said, "What would you do differently if you were to perform live solo again, like it was the first time?" So if you had a chance to do your first time all over again, what would you do differently?
Ooh. Dang. My first performance was at this spot called the Locks Lounge in Brooklyn. If anybody remembers that, shout out to you. You've been around a long time. What would I do differently? Oh my, that's actually a really hard question. Dang. You know what? I didn't do any original music. I would do original music. In its,
Okay, okay, okay.
bare bones, in its mistakes, in its imperfections, I would do it.
I noticed that too. A lot of times you do cover songs. Is there a reason for that?
I don't do them as much anymore, but when I was first starting out, I was definitely like very reliant on covers because
Mm,
again, that's kind of how I learned to sing.
right,
And I would hide my songs, but they would get found. I would hide them in my journals, and my mom would find the journals and be like, "Why you writing about these boys? Why you writing about this and that? You don't even know about that." And
right.
she
Nah,
take it away. So it took me a minute.
I feel that. I mean, hey,
Like,
you got to learn somehow. You feel me? So
it took me a
training wheels are necessary.
minute, yeah.
Um, by the way, if anyone else has any questions, please again use the question mark at the bottom because I will not be able to scroll up as far, with this divided screen. Yes, so question mark at the bottom of your screen, ask all questions, everything pops up, and I will definitely get to it at some point. Um, Sorry, give me a second.
Take
Let me get this out of
your
here. All right,
time.
cool.
Take your time.
Um, so you mentioned you were going on a hiatus. I'm just checking off my notes, which is crazy because I don't normally take notes. Like if you ever watch any previous episode, I'm like off the fly, like so. But I feel like some people deserve like the due diligence. You have to like sometimes slow it down a little bit and But yeah. So you mentioned the hiatus. What is that about? And I guess how long of a hiatus are you planning on taking?
So I've been performing a lot recently for like the past 3, 4 years. The whole
Mm,
pandemic, not like 2020. 2020, I was on tour with a band,
mm,
and obviously, that put the world at a stop. So we had to take a pause. In 2021, we were doing like a soft relaunch,
mm-hmm.
soft, what that is, We were coming back outside very gently. 2022 is when stuff started popping off. Like it wasn't, you know, a month where I didn't have a performance. Like
Mm,
from January to December. Maybe it was like a, Kai is actually taking a break, but it would be like maybe I'll take a month.
mm.
And then I'd be like, all right, well, I'm back. What's outside? What are we doing? Like, let's go. And I'm not gonna hold you, that puts such a strain on your voice and your fatigue, especially when you do things like, for instance, I was a barista and a bartender before I went back
Interesting.
into cooking. It was fun, but I'm not gonna hold you. Nobody wants to get paid $10 an hour or $15 an hour to stand on your feet all day and make coffee. It's not
No,
that
real talk.
no,
Real
it's
talk.
not that nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work for low wages and no benefits and to be disrespected. I'll tell you that right.
100%. 100%. I'm totally with you on that, like for real. Which segues into my next question. I love how you just connected the dots. How does it feel to be a woman in today's industry? First off, I'll go back. I'll revisit that later. How does it feel to be a woman in today's industry? And that's dealing with like, disrespect, booking gigs, probably suggestions to be secular, the ups and downs of your support system. What is it like?
Hmm. Okay. So,
Loaded.
huh, what happened?
Loaded. That
Yeah,
was a loaded
loading,
question.
literally loading. For me, I'm not newly saved, but I got saved at 21 and baptized at 22, and then I got baptized again at 24 or 25. Uh, yeah,
Baptized? Okay. I see you.
I got baptized twice. Yeah. I guess I wanted it again. I was like, I want this again. This is nice.
I've
Okay,
heard of
great.
that though. I've heard of people getting rebaptized. So that's
I
not an
have
uncommon thing.
to. Like it's like a vow renewal. So I was like, I want this again. We could do that again.
Mm.
Um, if you don't know, I consider myself a ratchet Jesus loving thug, which means God is still working on me. There's some parts of me that will still go outside to the club with my friends,
Mm.
and we gonna twerk. We're not gonna get into debauchery, but we're gonna cut up on that floor, and then
I
we're
feel
gonna
that.
go home and go to church the next day, and we're gonna be on the worship team.
I go to
We're
church the
gonna
next
study
day.
our word, and we're also gonna live in our purpose. We're not gonna water it down. Like, yes, I'm a Christian. I still cuss a little, and it's not even to be like, like I'm being worked on, and it is okay to be a masterpiece in progress, or pieces of you are still
Mm.
out of whack. That's okay. You don't have to be like super conservative all the time. That's okay. Show yourself. For
Mm.
me, being a woman straddling like both sides of that, it's like I have to deal with men that don't know how to control themselves or behave in certain ways. Not even just in a sexual way, just like they want to use you for things and they don't know how to actually speak to you because they don't have a respect for women. Mm,
Mm-hmm. Talk about
crazy
it.
to me. Crazy to me. Like, how do you not at least have a minimal respect for a woman to know that she's not there just for your pleasure or your eye candy or whatever? Like, she's actually a person and she has feelings too. And she
Right.
works a certain, there's a work, I got a workflow. Like, when I go to studios, I'm working. We might joke, we might kiki haha, but it's work at the end of the day.
Big facts. Big
It's work.
facts.
And then, like, on the I don't want to say religious because yeah, religious hoo-ha, but like on the me having a relationship with God front and going to church and like doing all these things, it's like you got to deal with, all right, is what I'm doing actually glorifying God? Is it actually, or is it glorifying like the bullshit that society is putting out?
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a purpose? Is it, you know, is it touching people in a way that it should? It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
always have to be super influential, but are you touched? Are you moved? Like, does this inspire you? Even if it's
Mm-hmm.
just telling a story, even if it's like an ass shaking song, even if it like I haven't made an ass shaking song yet. I wrote one,
You
but I
see,
haven't
yeah.
made one. Soon, soon, coming soon, coming soon.
I
But there's
hope she's
dimensions to
fully
that,
dressed
and it's
women
when.
shaking her ass.
But again, there's dimensions to that, and then like wondering if these different kinds of people are going to accept and understand these dimensions, understand
Mm,
standing those like there's some of my church people that don't understand that what I do is not to be out here just to make money or just to, say, oh, I'm
mhm,
famous, ha ha ha. It's a self-expression. It's an expression of how I feel, how what I've gone through. It's me telling my story.
mhm,
And then there's other people that don't understand why I still lean on the values that I have learned in church or the
mhm.
values that I've learned in life about being a person with integrity, walking through life with a strong character, regardless
That's
of
dope.
how I'm dressed, like, or regardless of how I'm presenting that day. Like, some days I come and I'm looking like a tomboy, and other days I'm wearing skirts and dresses, and it's like, I'm still a
Right.
woman.
100%. I think there's like a, not to make excuses for the
Right.
lack of respect for women, but um, first off, let me just say that I have a woman dominated. Am I saying that right? Anyways, it is mostly women in my family. Like my family tree consists of mostly women. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of been instilled in me, like without me actually realizing it. But I've always had a respect for women, so a lot of things I don't even let fly. A lot of things I don't agree with, and there's a lot of things that I catch strays for that I'm not even a part of. So I'm just like, yeah, what the hell? And
Mm,
then, like having guy friends, of course, when I see them do certain things, I'm one of those friends who's gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, that's not even cool, bro. Like,
come on.
like even calling women the B word. I don't even do it. Like you won't hear that word in my music. Like, well, if it depends on how I'm using it, but it would never be
Context,
directed at a woman.
context.
Like,
Context is everything, and that's okay. But I understand what you mean.
100%, yeah. So I'll never direct it towards, disrespectfully to anyone. So yeah, like it's kind of weird for me. Well, not for it's kind of weird for me to experience it. Let me just say
Right.
that. Yeah. But I also, to rewind back on the religion thing. Nothing too personal, but I feel like that was always my thing with religion. Like, because I also come from a Christian family. Like, well, the older generation, like everyone from my mom, like my mom's kids, like we didn't. That wasn't something that was taught in our household, but our family, the rest of our family, was involved. And one of my aunts, like she was heavy on it. Like she used to go hard to get us into church, to like get us saved and all of that. And I think the only thing that really kind of bothered me about that was that she put up all these restrictions, like if you do this, you're not a child of God. If you do
Right.
this, you're not a child of God. Things like that. And it kind of brainwashed me into, and for a slight second, to believe that I had to follow a certain path. You know. And then once I started breaking it, well, I never really committed to it, but once I started like showing her like I'm still good, like without this, like I don't know if she hated me or whatever, but like we kind of like grew apart or whatever the case is. But I feel like there's a part of her that probably wanted to reach out and be like, you know what, you was right this whole time, like I should have never tried to like usher you in there as aggressively, but I guess what I'm really trying to say is, I appreciate that you mentioned being a work in progress because, going back to my aunt, all these things that she was saying that you had to do in order to be a child of God, a lot of it she was doing the opposite of, not even to mention, and I get personal on the show, like, I don't like everything that I talk about is like, it's cool, it
Right.
doesn't bother me at this point. But even going down to attempted suicide. And when well, at least me, when I sat down and had the courage to ask her the question of why she tried to off herself, she said, I wanted to see if God was real. And I was like, go fucking figure. Like, this whole time you've been trying to get me, like, in it, and you didn't even believe it yourself. Like, that's kind of odd, you know? But I've been meeting people lately who are starting to say that they are a work in progress. They're on a journey. They're learning of themselves and of God. I respect that a lot more than saying, yo, this is the way. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, so if a lot more people were honest of their journey, maybe I would have been more welcome to joining in or whatever.
Right.
But just meeting people who are like super hypocritical, it was just like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm good
yeah,
on that,
that's
So.
understandable.
And I feel like I turned out really good. I didn't really need a religion to get this far in life. Like I have faith. I have faith in something, but it's been keeping me. It's keeping me going.
All right, now,
So Yeah, let's get back to it though.
Thank you for
I
no,
didn't
thank
mean to
you
get
for
roped
sharing
away.
that. Thank
Yeah,
you for
nah,
sharing.
definitely. So we got some more questions from Small Business Mama. She's a dope person. She does am I saying it right? Resin art. She does resin art, so she makes a lot of it could be keychains, it could be trays, it could be jewelry holders. She does a bunch of stuff, mugs. She does a couple a day every day in her story, or art of the day rather. So check her out. She's definitely dope and very supportive. Every time since I've met her, she's been tuning into every episode, asking questions and all of that. So I appreciate her. So her first question was, if you had a wish to make music with an artist, past or present, who would it be?
Um, Nas.
Ooh, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go. That's my favorite artist too.
that's Nas and he's present. So past, definitely Michael, but that was an easy answer. That was a very easy answer. I would actually have to say Quincy because he's no longer here.
Mm, okay. I feel that. I feel that. That's dope. Great answers, by the way, too. I didn't expect knots. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't expect that one. So that.
Really? No,
I mean,
oh my God. Since I was
listening to you rap
small.
and stuff, I can understand where it comes from because of the type of music you make. But I didn't see it coming for sure.
Uh,
Um,
no, that would go hard.
Nah, for it definitely would. I'm not gonna lie. Nas and Kaya Kulu, that would be sick. We gotta get that man online, man.
Got it.
Um, you said you finally started taking this serious at 21. So what happened in between all of that, or what happened at 21 that was like, this is it?
So before 21, I was kind of just like, I wanted to see where the wind would take me because I had just graduated from a theater arts high school, but I knew I wanted to make more music and I wanted to dance. I wanted to be a theater kid, but also the theater kid who was also on her own path and making her way through a different type of scene. So I was definitely partying. I was in college. I went to NYU for a year. I hated it because it was so conscious. And I was also taking care of my mom at the time who had started to go in and out of the hospital due to like congestive heart failure and her knees were giving out on her. She was going through like a lot of obesity and weight changes, depression. So I was taking care of my siblings and my mom. And it was definitely a lot mentally. Yeah, I took care of her. Me and my siblings, we took care of her up until she passed in 2020. And that was really hard. But it was that. And I was like, do I really want to do this? And I started seeing people like, Kendrick Lamar, J Rock, ASAP Rocky, Joey Badass, who I went to middle school with. I started seeing them make
That's
it. And
dope.
I'm like, yeah, like they've always been dope to me. And I was just like, I'm seeing all these people make it, and they're older than me, but they're not that much older than me.
Right,
Like when I
right.
think about it, people like Cardi B who came out, after that time period, we're like literally in the same bracket. She's just a year older than me, and I started like wondering. I was like, I don't have to be a kid star to make it. I
Right.
can hone my craft and sharpen it now. I can get better with time. I can grow into this even more than I already have. Um, so there's that. And then at 21, I started at the Locks Lounge, this spot called Underground Show. I forgot. I think it's Underground Showcase. I can't remember.
Hmm.
But I started there, and once I had that first show, the guitarist that I had was a girl, and I was really happy to have another woman on my side. I was like, yeah, her name is Key Hutchinson, and she played the shit out her guitar. It's just me and her,
Hmm.
and we ate that set. And I was just like, let me stop playing. Let me get this shit together. And then that was also when I joined an artist development collective called VDP, which is short for Vanguard Development Project. And as tumultuous as, that was at times, like getting material stolen from me within that group, side-eyeing people when they would like do certain things, like there were some good times. There were some times where I was like, I don't know if I really like a lot of you motherfuckers, but
For real.
here
I
we
know what you
go,
mean.
child. And then yeah, I was like, you know what? if I'm writing these songs and they're good enough for you to try to put your voice on them and say you wrote it or whatever the case may be, negative or positive, I know I'm good enough to keep going. And I was like, I gotta do it.
Nah,
I gotta.
I feel that heavy. I feel that heavily. Honestly, it your journey is, it's like it shouldn't be, how can I say, compared to other people, because like your journey is your journey for a reason,
Mhm.
and it depends on what you pick up from your journey that makes you better, going forward. A lot of people just kind of like, oh, I'm going through all these weird stuff. I don't want to do it no more. But it's like, bruh, like, what did you start doing it for? Like, did you think it was just peachy, like a yellow brick road or something? Like,
It's not.
yeah,
Even Dorothy had to go through the poppies and the all of this and the that. Like, come on.
real shit. So thanks for sharing that, 100%. Has there ever been anyone, you mentioned a lot of people that you came up with or that you've witnessed in their time before they blew up. Has there been anyone that you've come back around and they've seen you now who you are?
A lot of classmates, they
Mm.
were very surprised. They was like, "What? Huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've always been this way."
So wait, have you promoted that? Like, I mean, some people are like, they don't put their personal life into everything. So like, had like going through school and stuff, have you always like told people like, hey, I'll be on stage, I'll be doing this and that?
No, I kind of just did it.
Mm.
I kind of just
Makes sense.
did. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I don't care if you, because a lot of people didn't like me in school growing
Mm.
up. I was always called nerdy or annoying. So I had like two friends in elementary and middle school. High school is when I started to get to know people
Right.
and not be so afraid to open up.
Hmm.
Also had two friends in high school. I was just the girl who was on stage that could sing and everybody liked it. But once I got off the stage, it was like, all right, Kaya, shut up.
Yo, I low key relate to that. Like, not for
I
nothing. All
hated
right, so
it, but
I didn't start getting into music until I was in high school.
I,
Um, I was always a fan of it. But I didn't have like the musical background. Like my family, nobody in my family is a music artist. No one has ever done music. They're not even lovers of music. They can't even, dive through the Rolodex of what's going
right.
on, like, the eras, the genres and stuff, So I pretty much had to figure all of this out on my own. And still to this day, a lot of people will ask me like a certain question about like a golden age in hip hop, and I won't know the answer. And they'll be like, "Well, are you even a rapper? Or are you even for hip hop?" And
What?
it's like, well, yeah, I didn't learn what you're expecting me to know now. Like, like I didn't get there yet. So but I do admire that some people dedicate their lives to it. Like they're from young, they like I have a friend in the UK, his name's Stevie. He remembers like when Kanye did his MTV video, what he said to me. It was something about Kanye that he said he saw MTV videos, but it was like he just like he can like pinpoint references and what year they came out, what video this was in, and I'm like, bro, like how? So I can't even remember like what I wore last week. So it's just like
That's
you
real.
know. But also in high school, I mean, just growing up in school in general, I was one of those secretly popular people. Like I didn't know that I had people that really liked me.
Right.
It was just me. Like it was just that whenever I did something big, these people would come out and be like, "Oh, I knew, all along," but it would be genuine. Some people just waiting to be like, "Oh, I knew you," but some people would like genuinely just come out and be like, "I knew it. I just had to see you get
Right.
into your zone. Like I just wanted to see you activated."
I have a
So
couple people that are very genuine and a couple that I'm like, you didn't even like me. Why are you
right.
here?
But then I did run into people, still do, from high school who were just like, yo, like you really doubled down on this. And there's one person who I won't say their name, but they are actually on the rise, like, one of the artists to watch, so to speak.
Nice.
They're getting cosigns from all these celebrities and stuff like that. They probably have a record deal or whatever. I ran into them one day at the show, and they were like I guess a guest appearance. Um, and I walked up to them on some regular, like, yo, what's up? I ain't seen you in mad long. Trying to reach out and dap, and it was like, hold up, who are you? And I was like,
Wow.
we was in the same class, like, not even the same school, the same class, like, and you don't even remember me, like, so the dude, the person they were dating recognized me. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to give them energy.
You
Like, forget, yeah, I'm
good,
gonna
you
let you pass
good,
that.
you good.
But yeah, so the person they were dating knew who I was, like automatically gave me my props from the start, and it was like, yo, this is so and so, and it was like, yeah, I don't know. They called the person who was curating the event, and it was like, yo, who is this? Like all in a split moment, they're asking, who is this that's walking up to me? And even the event curator was like, yo, that's MC Reef. How you don't know who this is? Like, again, secretly popular. A lot of times when people describe who I am in front of me, I'm like, yo, shit, like for real, that's how you see it?
Oh,
Like,
y'all did that? You
but
see me like that?
word,
Right.
it's like, yeah, that's dope. That's dope. But, it's just like, okay, so yeah, at this point, either you just being real Hollywood or you just really dumb. Like, I don't know which one it is, but you're one of them. Um, but yeah, moving on. First off, I probably should ask it this way. Do you remember how you met me? It's
I'm
okay if
sorry,
you
say
don't.
that one more
It's okay
time.
if you don't. It's
No,
completely
no,
okay
no.
if you don't.
The what was it? The signal went out. I didn't hear the question.
Oh, I was saying, do you remember how we met? How we started I guess interacting with each other?
I'm not gonna hold you. I do not, but I do want to say this has to do with Frank Nizza. I want.
Interesting. Wow, that's quick. I didn't expect that to come up. So speaking of Frank Nizza, he's definitely been a huge support system. He's shown me so much love since we've
Nizza is
actually,
great.
yeah, I met him during Day Summit in 2019, and ever since then he's been like super supportive. Like he's been I don't want to say fan, but he's been a huge supporter of like what I've been doing. And he vocally says this. Like he'll text me or he'll in person he'll come up to me and say things like, and it's like, wow, that's dope.
That's Nizza.
And yeah, yeah. So for me, it was World MC. That's how I discovered you.
Was
Yeah.
that
So
at the
um,
rooftop?
yes,
You
it was a rooftop.
were on the
No, I
rooftop?
wasn't there. What's the crazy part of what about World MC? Team Backpack, all of them cipher joints. I tried to be a part of that so bad. They never picked me up. Like, you
Yeah,
have a lot of
no,
them, you
they
have to do
still
like submissions, you have to do online submissions. I was never picked up for none of that. So,
look.
it's crazy, and I've always wanted to be a part of it. I think the only thing I have done was grind mode ciphers. That's the only thing that I've actually
Shout
been picked up for.
out to grind mode.
Yeah, they definitely showed love. Somebody tagged me in their comment. I never actually auditioned for them. Somebody tagged me in their comments, and then they reached out to me like, "Yo, we got this on this date. Come through, boom, boom," and everything was like crystal clear from there, which was a really dope experience. I got to meet some dope artists. It was a Denzel. What's his name? Denzel Porter. He was actually in one of the ciphers that day.
Nice.
Not in the same cipher as me, but he was in one of them that was going on that day.
Right.
So I got to meet him. It was really cool chopping it up with him. I've been a fan of him for a while. But World MC, Ronnie Brown actually was in that one with
That's
you.
the
And
homie, Ronnie Brown. I wasn't in
yeah,
Ronnie Brown's cipher.
but
I
yeah,
was in
that
Dottie.
was that the same day or
No, we were on different days. His was in the snow and mine was in the sun.
got it, got it, got it.
But
But
no, that is the homie, long time homie, could spit his ass off. Yeah.
yeah, for
Fire.
sure. But I remember he reposted it. And then I saw it. I'm like, yo, she going off. So I remember following you, and I just reached out to you from there. I was like, yo, I spotted your performance, and I was just ever since then I've just been checking you out. So
I thought
um,
we met in person because sometimes my memory will do a number and be like, "You met this person here," and it's wrong. It's
the first
wrong.
time we did meet was at the One Train Cipher,
Yes,
and I didn't get to rap at that point. Yeah, and I was highly pissed off about that because
that
I
was a
worked
lot
hard to get there.
happening, and it could have been better organized, is what I will say about that.
Yeah, it definitely could have been. My bad. People are having conversations in the comments trying to, I
Oh,
guess they're speaking on what we're saying, but I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm
I see
ignoring
my
y'all. I'm not
people there.
ignoring y'all. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. Again, if you guys have any questions, please hit up the question mark at the bottom of your screen. It'll be easier for me to access it because it's just zooming by. I'm like, damn, what are y'all saying? I'm sorry. Um, yeah, so it's been one thing I will say though what I've been learning as an artist. I've been doing this since 24. Well, I started taking myself serious in 2014. I've come across a lot of artists, yourself included. I've got to watch you grow, and it's. You ever watch like an interview and like of your favorite artist, and they're spot like shouting out names, and you're like, how the hell you know this person? And they thought they digging back in the archives. So you're like, yo, y'all really was in the same hood, like, so. it's really dope that I get to cross paths with a lot of great talent, and I get to see you guys grow. Some
We
of
get
you
to
were
see you
younger.
grow too.
Yeah, you feel me? It shows a lot, and I appreciate that everywhere I go. I try to make sure that every time I see somebody that I recognize, I'm like, yo, I see you, kind of thing. So it's always beautiful. So thank you for always being open and never going Hollywood. That's again like something that I wanted to say for sure.
Thank you. I'm not from Hollywood. I'm from Brooklyn.
That part. Um, Speaking of Hollywood, or I guess growing up in a community where you cross paths with people a lot, how do you view competition? Because a lot of you people they're on the same mission. They want that number one spot. So how do you view that?
Uh, uh, I be in my lane and I'm doing what I'm doing. I might veer off into other things, and competition is it's welcome. I welcome it, but I also, keep it respectful. Still from Brooklyn.
Mhm.
I will run you over. Don't do too much.
They say Brooklyn is like the most aggressive borough when it comes to hip hop. Like we're the ones who I'm from Brooklyn, by the way, too. Um, a lot of people try to come at me and be like, "Oh, but you're from Queens." No, you met me in Queens, but I was literally, yeah, because I spent most of my life in Far Rock. I won't
Yeah,
even. So going back to
I get it.
Kingsway that we was talking about the other day, that's where I met him in Far Rock. So. Yeah, we definitely. I grew up out there, which was crazy because I went to IS 53 right down the block from Stack Bundles. So it was been times where I would walk the back blocks and we'd see him in front of the building, right in front of the supermarket, doing his rap videos and stuff like that. We used to walk. Rest in peace. But after he got killed, they had his Porsche at the 101 precinct right in front of our school 53 is there's a precinct right in front of it. So apparently, what I didn't know before when I was going to the school, it still looks that way, but it used to be a jail. So I didn't know that. But so that whole thing was like a prison yard or whatever. But there's a precinct right in front of the school, and they had his Porsche right there and in the parking lot, and we was able to walk by and like see like all the bullet holes and stuff like that. And for me, that was like walking through a museum in a sense. Like I was kind of like, damn, I can still feel like everything that happened that night.
Right.
And it was just crazy. Um, it's just cool to, I guess, witness that and make it a part of my life. So when people tell me like I should be proud to be from Far Rock, and it's like, yeah, it's been some good times out there, but I'm a Brooklynite at heart,
I
man. I can't
felt
deny
that.
where I came from.
Shout out to
So
Far Rock though, because it be some fire coming out of Far Rock when it's there, like
no,
Reggie
for real.
Angelou.
I can't. I'll be honest with you. I'm out of touch when it comes to Far Rock. Like, like I've kind of like separated myself, and like, it's just weirdness that goes on out there. I'll be real with you. But I have met some dope artists. Devi being one of them. We actually used to live not in the same building, but like in Hamels
Yeah.
projects. So I would always see him, and this is before he blew up too, by the way. So I would like see him in front of the store, doing what he does and stuff like that. And we like, I don't want to say antisocial. I don't talk to people if I don't have a reason to.
Understood. Especially
Yeah,
out in Far Rock sometimes. It could get crazy. I have an auntie that lives out there, so
right.
yeah.
So, a lot of times I just walk past him. He'll try to get my attention via his ventures. But I just never wavered. I never walked into it. I was like, all right, whatever. Then I met him at a show one day, and I was like, nigga, I saw you in front of the store for like a whole 2 years. Like, what's good? And it was like instant love. It wasn't like he even tried to act Hollywood on it. He was like, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you too. You the same nigga that walked past me. Like, but
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I'm focused. Like if I leave out the house to do something, I'm gonna go do that. I'm not making those side missions unless I decide to do so. You're not
right.
gonna knock me off my path. Um, yeah, so I've just been very big on that. Damn, I kind of ran out of notes.
It's okay.
I thought I had more. No, I mean, well, this just goes back to me getting back on track, like using my what I know about you. So breaking sound. That's it, right? Breaking
Yes.
sound. Okay. How did you land that gig? Because I actually met this guy on a side mission. I used to like during the pandemic and stuff. Well, I quit my job officially working period during the lockdown. And
Congratulations.
yeah, like I didn't like how they was talking about, oh, you're an essential worker, and that definitely didn't treat me like when I was getting paid really
Okay.
good. The jobs that I had, I was making good money, but don't talk to me any kind of way. I'm not a slave, bro. Like I'll beat you right up. I don't care if you're my boss or not. I'll punch you dead in your face, you know. But you know, I met him doing one of my freelance gigs, which was washing his dog. So he had sciatica, if I'm saying it correctly. He has
Sciatica,
sciatica.
yeah.
Yeah, so he couldn't do certain things, you know. So I helped him clean up his house and I washed his dog for him and stuff like that. And he ended up telling me about the brand and stuff, you know, and I kind of didn't really give into it. Like I thought it was interesting, and then he mentioned the UK, so I've been visiting the UK a lot, and you know, when he said he has the operation going in the UK, it like really sparked my interest. I was like, oh, let's do it, but I just never went around to like committing to it. So then, fast forward 3 years later to see you on stage in this dope ass venue. How did that come about?
First of all, I think I know who you're talking about, so we'll talk about this off the camera because he's really cool.
Mhm.
I think I might know who you're talking. He's really, really a cool
Yeah,
person.
he is. He
Um,
definitely dope.
Breaking Sound kind of came up for me. So, okay, I'm completely independent, unsigned. I do all of my own booking, all of my own
Talk
like
about it.
PR, posting on the internet,
Talk about it.
making my content. I might have help, but a lot of that, like the conceptualization of the ideas comes from me. I hire my musicians, and a lot of them are my friends. Like they're my
I
strong
noticed that.
community, my brothers, my sisters, all of that. Um, yeah. So I found them one day just like doing a dive for stuff I could do in like late 2022. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. If I'm denied, then I'm denied. But for like, fuck it, I'm gonna do
Mhm.
it. So I did it
So,
and they got back to me and I was like, huh? I only have 3 songs out. What's going? Whoa. And I did a gig in 2022. It was just me, a bassist, a keyboard player, and a trumpet player.
mm,
And, you know, it actually went really well. Hiccups. We didn't have one rehearsal. I said,
I love those kind of
what?
performances.
You know why it was not hard? Because we usually play together at jam sessions. Like we all went to this jam session called That House Party though, and we would like lock in. We were locked the fuck
Mm,
in. And I was like, you know what? All right, I have to trust them enough to know that they wouldn't do me any type of way. They would actually listen to the material and interpret it and like lock in with me so that we can all be a unit together. And it went really well.
mm.
I was like so surprised. I was like, oh my God, like sobbing in the corner, just like like it was so fun. And then fast forward to now, like I'm still doing my own booking, like doing my best to build a team, but you know, it's me and Jesus right now.
I feel
Me,
that
Jesus, and what little patience I have. Oh Lord, it's a lot.
heavily. I feel that heavily. Especially building a team, man. That's been the most frustrating thing for me, you know, like, and it's like I'll come across people who see the potential, who want to be a
Yeah.
part of the journey, but then once they realize they got to actually be committed, they're like,
Do I have
so it's like, okay, did I
right?
scare y'all? Like, did I scare y'all because I was so serious about this? Like, or did you think it was like a pipe dream? Like, no, this is real. I want this to happen. Like, you know, so that's been my biggest struggle as well too, just finding a solid team. But I'm glad that I've been doing this by myself. I've been learning a lot on the
Right.
journey. So, you know, no one can really pull the wool over my eyes in certain things, you know. Whatever experiences I haven't experienced yet, you might have got me there, but hey, I know a lot. So we have a few more questions coming in from everybody.
Cool.
Call me A. They want to know, how do you feel? That's a great question.
Just in general,
Just in
how do I feel?
general, how do you feel?
How do I feel? I'm exhausted. I'm not gonna lie. I feel good. There are days where I get up and I'm like, but I'm gonna show up. And if I have to show up with my 75, then that's my 100 for the day. That is my 100. So,
Okay, great, great, great. I love that. And by the way, I feel you on that too. Like it's been a lot of times where I've been super exhausted, or even if I slept well, like my energy just be depleted from being outside so much.
right,
It's like the battery. And I'm just like, you know what? I have to do this though. This is what I signed up for. So, but at the same time, you do have to take care of yourself. So it's a crazy struggle, like trying to figure out which events to like back out from and which ones to actually show face. At least for me, that's been a big challenge. Um, the Next one is, what is your favorite borough or state if you have been to other states?
Aha! My favorite borough's always gonna be Brooklyn.
Facts, facts, facts.
Special love to I've lived in every borough except for the Bronx, but special love to the Bronx because I've been squashing my years old beef with the Bronx because the Bronx has really been
Boroughs.
showing up for me. I'm not gonna hold you. I'll be going up there and they be coming out to Brooklyn. They be showing up for me. And I found out in my learning of the Bronx because I know a lot of dope people from the Bronx, especially MCs. I learned from
Mm,
my homegirl Dizzy Sense that the Bronx was actually a farm, and that's why it sounds mad plural, and that it was the first borough in
mm,
development. It had a flag, and I was like, okay, like, wow, that's
dope.
actually really cute. And
Nah, that's
special
fair.
shout out to Queens too, because there was a time where I just spent mad time in Queens.
Mm.
Mad time.
Queens is
And
cool.
like, you know
I
how
don't know why people be acting like
Queens
it's
is
not. Yeah,
beautiful.
Queens
You know what it is
is
about
really
Queens that
dope.
gets me? You know what it is about Queens that will always get me tight? It's the streets. 103rd Lane, Drive, Court, Avenue, Way,
Yes.
Street, Boulevard, cul-de-sac. That confuses me.
Oh, for real though.
I
For
love
real
Queens
though.
though, but I will always get mad at that.
Nah, I feel
So
you.
Harlem, Staten
100%.
Island, Ferry is cute. Ferry, Wu-Tang, shout out second generation, shout out Wu-Tang, but
Mm.
yeah, that Ferry.
Shout out to my guy RVJ. He's a dope poet from UK as well.
Hey,
I have strong UK connections, you know, and
come on,
they're very supportive. So if you ever go out to the UK, they're gonna love you out there. Like they love hip hop more than us, which is crazy.
Oh,
No,
favorites. They
seriously.
do. They kind of know. They kind of do. Yeah. Favorite state? California, hands down. I
Mm,
love California.
nice.
Oh, if I wasn't from here, I would definitely be from Cali.
I enjoyed my time in Cali. It was
Me
definitely dope. I
too.
got to see the whole culture, everything, gang culture, the Hollywood culture, everything. I saw all of it in one day. Like I was only there for one day. I did a show out there,
Nice.
and yeah, back in 2019, it was probably the most scariest experience ever. But also, it taught me that networking is very important.
Yep.
So, quick side story. I almost got beat up and robbed in Cali. Like, yeah. I didn't do anything to like warrant it. Like, you know, it was just that I showed up to the venue. First off, we were supposed to perform in Van Nuys. This was through Scott Morris. I don't know if you know who that
I know
is. More bookings.
who that is. Yes.
Yeah, so I had just got back from the UK. I think it was like my first year out there in the UK. I went there twice that year. So I just got back from the UK like 3 days prior, and he called me while I was out there to tell me about the LA show. But anyway, so I booked my flight. I didn't have no money really, like you know, so whatever money I had left, I just booked the flight to LA. I tried to get a rental. I didn't have enough for that, so I didn't even have a hotel. I was outside literally the whole day. Like the
Wow.
entire time I was outside until I had to go to the airport to catch my flight back home. Um, but yeah, so it was supposed to be in Van Nuys. Apparently the show got canceled and moved over to Burbank. So I didn't know that Burbank was one of them places. Like you just can't be by yourself. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm thinking everywhere in Cali is like cool, you know. Like I mean, obviously I know certain areas out there,
Right.
but for the most part, I didn't know Burbank was one of them. So I get there. I was talking to the bartender at first, waiting for the show to start, and I guess the people that were coming in didn't like the fact that me and her were like having a great conversation. Like her thing was I look like Tupac. A lot of people say that to me, which is weird. I don't see it, but they tell me I look like Tupac. I don't get it, but that was her connecting point. You look like Tupac, and then we just started going into a whole conversation about where I was from and all of that. Um, I performed, and then they have this thing out there called I forgot what the name of it is. I forgot the name, Ease or something like that. But it's basically like the Uber Eats for weed,
Yes.
you know. So yeah, so I recall ordering some weed or whatever, and I go out there to like wait for the person to show up. And I realized everyone's just staring at me. And you know, like one of them things where it's like you look away, you look back, and everyone just seems closer each time you look back at them. It was one of those moments. Every time I look back, somebody's closer and closer. I'm like, yo. So at this
What's
point,
going
like, I'm just
on?
like, yeah, I'm like, all right. Um, and the most famous question that they're gonna ask you before they book you, where you from? Every
Yeah.
West Coast rapper, if you listen to their music, they always say it somewhere
Where
in their music. Like they'll
are you
mention,
from?
right.
Where you
Snoop
stay at?
Snoop and Nipsey are the two most prominent figures in doing that. Like they'll say it in a lot of their lyrics, where you from or however they'll address it. But um, yes, I told the dude I was from New York, and then I looked away, and then again they started even closer. Like they was like, so there was this one dude. Shout out to Slum the Resident. I don't know where the hell he popped up from. He wasn't there the whole entire time, but it was like right in the nick of time. And I saw him, he saw me, like, and he saw everyone surrounding me. He was like, yo, that's my guy right there. And we just like dapped it up, and everyone just like left me alone after that. Like, but I felt the intensity of the moment. I knew what exactly everyone was doing in that moment,
Yeah.
and again, I was out there by myself. So I would have had to just take my loss. If I would have ran, I didn't know where the hell I was going. So yeah, something was going to happen that night, but I'm glad that it didn't.
I'm glad it did it. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was one of my most scariest experiences, like traveling. Well, let me not lie. I had an experience in Germany, close enough. But
Oh my.
yeah, no, but that's the beauty of traveling as well too. You get to live to tell these
Right.
stories. Um, yeah. So I think that
Thank
question was
you for
asked to me
sharing
as well
that.
too, since it was asked if you did many boroughs or states. What is? Oh, you asking what are the lists of places I've been? Sheesh. Just a quick rundown. I've been to Jersey, obviously, new next door to us. I've been to Jersey. I've been to Mel- Maryland. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to Philly, Cali. Um, I think that's all the states that I've been to. Oh, South Carolina. I've been to South Carolina. I got layover in North Carolina, so I don't really count that. I didn't get to explore.
Same.
But I did shout out J. Cole while I was there. Um, And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I haven't really been anywhere else in the States. As far as countries, I've been to London, Germany. I've been to Morocco. Again, that was a layover, so I didn't get to experience Morocco. Other than the cashier speaking to me in Moroccan, and I didn't know what the hell she was saying. But other than that, yeah, London, Germany, and Dublin. I've been to Dublin.
Nice.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience too. Like, there's no black people in Dublin. Like, there are, but you have to find them. And all of my experiences with black people overseas involve weed. So I was looking for weed. I was looking for weed, and I was asking people like, "Yo, where the dispensaries at?" And no one wanted to talk to me out there. Like, they were just kind of like standoffish. And then like there was like this little it's called Tesco's.
Yes,
So that's like
I
their
love Tesco's.
yeah, Tesco's is like the how can I say? It's like the I
Target.
don't want to say half
Almost.
mark. If you could maybe CVS. I would say CVS. Tesco's is like the CVS, for sure. Um, and there was like a group of black dudes. And I hate to say this, but I definitely profiled them. I was like, "Yep, let me go ask my homies." Like, so I walked up to them, and what do you know? They was actually on their way to the plug. So I was like, "Yes, let's go." Which I also then discovered Pirate Studios. So I ain't gonna lie, I thought they was gonna kidnap me. So they asked me, "It's like, yo, you want to come to the studio?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm down with it. First we go to our spot and we blaze up and stuff like that. I'm getting acquainted with them. So most of the black people in Dublin, history fact, are from Africa. A lot of people overseas, like you see them in London,
Yep.
France, or whatever. A lot of them come from Africa. So yeah. So we go on our journey towards the place, and I think there was some area in there where it was just isolated. It's just like those it's like storage the containers,
Yeah.
the big cargo
Yes.
joints, yeah. So it's like a whole bunch of them stacked on top of each other and all of that. But I didn't know that this was Pirate Studios. So when we got off the train or whatever, and I'm looking around, I'm like, where the fuck are we? Like, there's nobody around. It's dark outside, very few street lights and stuff. And I'm trusting them. I'm walking with them, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, this is not gonna end well. But it did. We made it to the studio. It was a really great experience. Great people. If I had my old Instagram account, I would still be connected with them. But they were friends for like some really, good time. So I had a great time in Dublin for sure.
That's good.
Would I go back? I don't know because it's very small. It's very small out there. I walked around the entire Dublin in 30 minutes.
Oh
Like, I kid you
wow.
not. Yeah, it's small. It's
Wow.
very small. Um, yeah, so I like adventure. So I would probably go somewhere that's like huge where I could like, stuff like that. So we have another question. Oh, we don't.
You've
Oh,
been
wait.
everywhere. That's really cool to know. I haven't even like done a lot of I went to the UK in 2019, but I didn't get to do the UK. Like I didn't get to do too much of Brixton
Go
or
back.
South London. I went to Croydon briefly. I didn't get to do a lot. Like
Go back. Wait, well, first off, let me ask you, what inspired you to go there?
uh I was meeting a lot of different people and like just planting
Yeah,
seeds. Vacation
same
also.
thing.
I was
Yeah.
vacationing out there. And it was, what's funny? It was winter time. And the thing that threw me for the loop the most, other than Nando's was phenomenal. Oh
That's the
my
McDonald's of
God.
the UK.
Oh my
That's the
God. Nando's
McDonald's of
was,
the UK for sure,
I
Nando.
know, but it was so
It
good.
was.
Oh,
Fun fact, and why I say it's the McDonald's of the UK, because every time I go out there and I meet someone new, they ask me, "Have you been to Nando's?" I'm like, a million times, a million times, but it's always good, always good. I've never had a bad experience,
it's very
food experience here.
consistent, and I
Very.
appreciate that about Nando's. But like, I also went down to their Soho. Their Soho is cute too. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. It was cute.
It looks like New York. Let's just be real here. It definitely looks like New York.
It does, but it was cute too. And I was like, okay. And then we passed by the West End. I got some Thai food out there, which was
Mhm.
fire. It was really
Nice.
fire. I stayed in, I think it was Slough or Slew. I don't know how to pronounce it. It was a lot,
Nickel
but
got you. She's like a how can I say this? She's like the tour guide, like
hey,
she'll definitely
Nicole.
let you know, or she travels a lot of places too, and she'll like do vlogs and stuff. So, tap in with her as well. I think she's about to release a new one
Period.
pretty soon.
Go
But
off.
yeah, she does
I
like
bet.
traveling, and she'll like point out like the hot spots for people to go to, like the hotels to stay and stuff like that. So she's doing the work. She's doing the work for all of us. So I appreciate her a lot. Um, but yeah, nah, definitely I would say go back to the UK, strengthen your connections. I hope you didn't stop talking to the people you met out there
No,
because
for sure. I met some fly ass people and they came out to New York. I don't know if you're familiar with Steam Down. Steam Down has been hosting jam sessions out there and they got fired me. I'll connect y'all. Like
mm,
they're amazing. Like and their work is so rooted in like community, culture preservation, like not letting people take over. Like it's beautiful.
that's dope. That's dope. See, RVJ he confirmed that you said it correct. Slow.
Hey!
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I've even been there. That's crazy. I've been out there a lot, but I haven't been to that specific location. So, RVJ, it's your job to bring me there next time. You gotta show me what's up. It's on you.
It's tiny over
Uh,
there. It's so tiny over there.
Yeah, but no, definitely keep fostering your connections out there. There are some really good people out there, and they'll put you in the right places, for sure. So, I'm definitely working on going back there, in the summertime. So you're welcome to join. I've never actually traveled with anyone. It sounds crazy. I've been a lot of places. Well, damn, let me not lie. When we did our road trips and stuff, I guess that was driving, but I never like got on the plane with people, like in general, like people that I knew and had like one of those travel trips. Like I've never done it, so I welcome it.
They're fun. I won't lie, especially when y'all have a plan and you're allowed to deviate from the plan without it being like, oh, we were supposed to do this all together. Like you have your days where you do group activities. Like where did we go for the first time in 20, what was it? I think it was 2016. I went to San Francisco the first time with some
Mm,
people from the group that I was in. And it was such a small group of us and it was a sponsored trip too. So I was at a youth development agency called The Door,
mm,
and they sponsored that trip to San Francisco because they knew we were into
mm.
music.
Nice.
So I'm hyped because I'm like, haha, I got food money, but my food's still getting paid for, and haha, my flight paid for, my room
That's
paid
fun.
for, haha. But it was also really fun to do that on my own. Like when we went to Michigan a year after to perform at their festival, like for another youth development agency. That was really fun. Like I paid for my bus ticket and I got to fly back. So I got to
Mhm.
experience like different modes of travel. We paid for the Airbnb. We got to we got to go to the arcade and do a whole bunch of stuff, interact with the locals. Like it's hella fun.
That's dope. That's dope. So we got a few minutes left. I got a few more things that I do want to discuss. Going back to being an independent artist. You're very vocal and speaking on being an independent artist and the hardships that you face. More importantly, having access to us. Like I feel like a lot of people And that was a question I asked for a long time. I would ask random people, like, if you had a chance to meet someone before they blew up, would you do it? Of course, a lot of them said yes, but when it comes time to actually doing it, they're like, "Oh, are you famous? Are you on YouTube?" And it's like, do you need a reason? Like, I'm letting you
Right.
know I'm on the journey right now. Like, you have a chance. So but one thing that I love that you say again is access us now before we inaccessible. Like, so what brought you to like really start advocating that?
A lot of the experiences that I had growing up and like in the last 10 years, I started to see that people would fall to the wayside. And there's a difference in falling to the wayside to take care of your priorities or whatever. We're all human. We all have,
Right.
parents that we're taking care of or whatever it is that we're taking care of. Some of us pay rent and where we live, rent is
That
egregious.
part. That
Some of us
part.
work 2 jobs and live our dreams. Some of us can't find a job and we're still finding ways to push through this. So there's
Mm.
that. But when I mean like when we become inaccessible, like you gotta appreciate local artists now while they're still playing the small stages for little to no pay, while they're still like able to be walking through the streets, taking the subways and the buses with you. You might share an Uber with them, or you might pull up to the show to see your homeboy or your homegirl, and you see them and you like, hold on, nah, this person kind of fired too. Like they actually care. Like
Facts.
we're here in front of your faces, like with your classmates. Some of us are your nurses, your doctors, your teachers, your whatever it is. We probably picked up that stable career to help us pay for this. And we were also good at that stable career, but like we're
Hmm.
also good at our passion. It doesn't have to just be a hobby and we're here in front of your face. So appreciate us while we're still here. And while we're still alive, because so many people don't get their flowers until they're dead. Like
That
I
part.
will always reference Pop Smoke as one of them. I will always reference Aaliyah as one of them. And people be like, oh, they're overrated, da 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 da. But
Nah.
nah, those are people that actually did something to help push it forward, to change the direction of things, that made noise, even if at first people didn't like it. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't like Pop Smoke at first. I was like, why are
Me
we in the
neither. Me
drill
neither.
land?
Me neither.
But
I
it
be
really grew
honest.
on me. It really grew, and I was like, oh, he's from Brooklyn. I was like, you know what? He's a YN. I get it.
Yeah.
The YNs express themselves differently. Like,
There's only one artist in Brooklyn that I hate with a passion, and that's Trey Ave.
oh,
I will forever
oh,
voice.
tomato, can't stand him.
Well,
Boo.
I've actually got to open up for Troy Ave, and it was not the best experience ever.
I'm
Like
sorry.
when I listen, man, I felt like it was a scam from the start. Like talking to his manager, like I felt like it was a scam. But you know,
Yikes.
you have those moments where you just kind of like, oh, this could be good for the career. Like people see this and they're gonna be like, boom, like kind of thing. So that's what it was for me. You
Right.
know, and it was $1,000 that I invested into that whole entire experiment.
Oh man,
Um, but to be ripped off for $1,000 from someone who's getting money, I
that's
see how you get your
crazy.
money, bro. I see how you get your money. Like that shit is corny to me.
Yeah,
Very, very corny. So for anyone that doesn't know, and not specifically directed at Troy Ave, even though I just mentioned him, a lot of your favorite artists are scamming other artists to get their money.
that pay to
So it has nothing to
play.
do with their music is not even that good. They are not people persons, or I don't know how to say that, but they're
No,
not
you're
for the
right.
people. And it's just a whole lot that goes into it. They just like a whole facade walking, like a facade with feet, like it's just yeah, stay far away from these people, and I feel like, before I kind of first off, I never fan out over like celebrities or anything like that. Never fan out. Like even Nas, if I was to meet Nas to this day, it'd probably be like a like, oh shit, like but
I might
yeah,
stand up.
after
That's
I
crazy.
realized, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm cool, bro. I'm cool. But for the most part, yeah, don't. I would appreciate if you guys remained in your present self and didn't fan out over these celebrities because they really don't give a shit about you, and they'll look for any opening to do you dirty. Any opening,
Oh, I
like I
got
kid you
stories.
not.
Oh, I got stories, but
I mean, hey,
it's
if
for
you
another
want to share one
time.
before we end, but that's on you.
Okay, I won't say names,
Cool.
because I do like them as an artist, and not just because of that. I won't say names. I won't. I'm
Okay.
not going to
Okay.
slander because
Respectable.
I'm grateful for the opportunity. However, I will peep how you can get disrespected by larger artists just because you're a small one or just because you're a small cog in the wheel to them. I was
Hmm.
on a background vocalist gig, and uh this person's manager walked into our rehearsal with the whole entourage followed by the person, and everything was going well, or so we thought. And behind the scenes, we were being spoken about in ways where it was like, can we get rid of this one? This one's too this one's too that. This one's outspoken, this one doesn't fit the look. And me and the girls that we were singing with, we stuck together. Uh yeah, we really stuck together throughout this because they were trying to make us turn on each other, and we were like, nah, we can't do that. We can't do that. And it got so crazy to the point where they were telling us wrong times to get to our post to go onto the stage. And mind you, this was live TV, so you miss it, you miss it. That's it. You can't,
That part.
you just can't. And the other thing that they did was they tried to short us on our payment, so we had to go through the SAG after union while they were on strike, and they had to like
No.
hit them with the email like, "Hey, so y'all didn't submit this to get your people paid?" It was a lot of not even proper miscommunication. It was how can I say, a lot of purposeful miscommunication to confuse
Mm.
us.
I
It's like
like how you said that.
I didn't appreciate that. I didn't appreciate that at all. And a lot of like last minute, like, "Hey, we need you to do this, and we're not gonna pay you your right amount. We're gonna wait a month to pay you net 90. Do away with net 90, net 30, net 25, net when you say, and if you can't, then you're gonna communicate.
Mm.
Hey, I'm on a payment plan with you. Okay, we've spoken about that. That's in stone. But if you're not going, don't do that.
Nah, for real, for real. And Nala, baby, it's funny. I've been watching her comments throughout this whole shit.
Nala is great. Hey, Nala. Hey,
I ain't gonna
Monica.
lie, Nala, it's not personal, but um, you did meet me in person, kind of brushed me off. I didn't take it personal, but which segues into my next question for you, Kaya. How do you feel being an older artist in a younger industry? Like we're like the veterans, now. So a lot of times when we go on stage and we perform, a lot of people just like, it goes the old head again. Because we're like we're experienced, so we might comment on the people leaving as soon as they perform. We might say something about the engagement or whatever the case is. We'll just that season that we'll point it out if we see it.
Hmm.
And I didn't get that from her, by the way, but that's what we do. Like that's just our thing. So
Yeah.
how do you feel being an older artist in this generation where you're battling younger people who necessarily don't even respect the OGs?
Hmm. Okay, so I have two experiences with that. In Nala's case, and in a lot of the younger artists' case that I know and that I've like spoken to, worked with, done shows with. Yes, we are still young, Rick, man. We still young, but in a sense we are veterans. But you're right. Um, in that case, and in the positive note, I can say that I embrace them and we embrace each other. Like we'll sit there and learn from each other. There's a lot of stuff like, okay, there's another girl named Clarity. She's another MC.
Mm.
Um, she she said she looked up to me, and I was like, no, girl, I look up to you.
I love those moments.
Like I was like, nah, I'm learning a lot from you. Like even Nala, like Nala's confidence be on one. I'm like, girl, show Big BX in the building. Okay, what's up? Like I really learn a lot, especially from younger women. I'm learning how to be more confident in myself. I'm learning not to give a fuck what these people think because they're gonna judge you for it anyway. I learned how to help them, and they give me advice that sometimes I don't even know that I'd be needing in the moment. Like,
Mm.
and when I look at people like Nala, like Clarity, like so many other people, I can't even name them right now because my brain is like, like Classics the writer, like Kieran, like I get so excited because that reminds me that the younger generation is gonna be all right, especially if they really put they foot in it, put their heart in it, walk with it, like. Yeah, that's mine. I own that because some of them are really owning it. The ones that play, I'm gonna get like I get so excited about the ones that don't play that sometimes when the ones that like to leave the room and sing over their tracks and do all of this like
Heavy on that.
uncaring, like yeah, I'm calling it out because that's what they do. Like the ones that do all of that, like it gets me so excited to see the other that I don't even get mad about that anymore. I really was the type to get mad about it, and at times I still do because like yeah, the music is supposed to have a message and sometimes it's supposed to be a fun song, but your music is not saying anything. It's not doing anything.
Nope.
It's not giving what it has supposed to have get. And it's boring. Like you're literally talking about you go shoot somebody and fuck somebody's bitch. Like, oh, I'm tired. And you're yelling and you have like 60 of your homeboys and your YNs with you. Like, and y'all are dressed in merms. Like, y'all didn't even care. Y'all just was like, oh yeah, we gonna be famous. Like, I guess this was the garden for y'all. So, like, you know what? I can't knock
Yo,
it, but I am gonna side eye it
yeah,
because you're boring.
facts. Yeah, facts. And I make it my business though to walk up to artists. Like, so I don't do showcases anymore. Like, I stay away from that range. Specifically for those reasons, because they're unwilling to learn as they're going up. It's like we're trying to help you, brother. Like we're still on the journey, so we're giving you like our steps to success, like what we've accomplished.
And they
You
don't
know,
want to
um,
listen.
but yeah,
And
I've
that's
had this
okay.
thing. I've had this thing recently where I was just kind of like, maybe I should rejoin the showcase era and like start like letting them know, like, because I like the last show that I was at was called Battle of the Stages, which is the last time that I actually saw Nala. Which is cool. I saw your comment. You don't recall. It's fine. I promise you, I wasn't offended by it at all. It was just like a damn. I said what up, and you just kind of like ah. I mean, I went up to shake your hand, and you kind of like just, but I didn't take it personal. What I was saying is that when I go to these places, and that was the last showcase I was at, I walk up to people and I'm just like, yo, I like what you're doing, and I'll try to connect with them right there from the jump. To let them know that you have people watching you, um, and that's something that I keep saying. I feel like I've been saying this for almost every episode because I want people to understand how important this is. But I don't know if you know Cloud Ray.
Yes.
But I had him as a guest on here. Yeah, I had him as a guest on here recently, and he's always shown that he's been a huge supporter of what I do. Mind you, I'm the same way for him. Like how you just said, like I learned from you, you learn from me, kind of thing. Yeah. I've been a fan of Cloud Ray, so for him to hear him speak about me in such high regards is dope. But one thing he said to me was, you have a lot of eyes on you than you realize. There's a lot of people that's actually watching you and rooting for you, and they want you to win and stuff like that. Even though they might not jump out the shadows at you, but they're watching. And I feel like ever since he said that, it's just been more present. Like, a lot more people are coming forward to be like, yo, I've been seeing this going on, or I love what you're doing here, or I just start seeing people pop up to shows. Like a lot of times, um, artists that are watching, I'm gonna just tell you right now, a quick little game. Posting your flyer in your story or on your page is like this much of the work, right? So like there's a lot more you have to do outside of that. But it's now I've gotten to a point now where I can just post a flyer and people pop up. So I think that's actually pretty beautiful, for sure. So I definitely want to join back into the showcase era, like I don't know, I keep saying era, but I want to go back to that
I
and start,
encourage.
letting the artists know that this is not the only place that y'all need to be because a lot of these showcases are scamming y'all and they're keeping y'all stagnant. And a lot of you guys are super, super talented, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it when y'all give up because y'all haven't had the right exposure or the right people believing in y'all. So that would be my purpose for going back to the showcases is to let y'all know that this is not your only place.
Right.
You know? So Nala, a bunch of other artists that I'm seeing in here as well, all of you guys, that is not
I
your only
encourage.
place. You feel me? I want to see y'all flourish. I want to see y'all do festivals. I want to see y'all getting paid for shows. I want to see all of this, but you have to believe in yourself and you have to do the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad y'all are born in this era where y'all are now forced to be content creators. I love it. Like it's forcing y'all, like whoever's not built for this is quickly showing. But for the most part, I love that y'all been thrown into this kind of environment. It shows y'all what y'all need to do to definitely get out there. Excuse me. Um, I'm gonna open up the floor if anyone has any final questions before we close this out. I did wanna it's crazy. I didn't even get to talk about your music. My fault. So, do you have time? Let me ask you that.
I have some time. I'm here.
Okay, cool. So, because I try to keep it, respectful of the time and stuff. But if you're here, we're here. Um, but yeah, still, if you guys have any questions, the little question mark at the bottom, it could be anything personal. It could be, uh, I mean, whatever you're willing to answer, by the way. But it could be personal. It could be career oriented. Whatever it is that you want to ask, feel free to ask it, or you can leave a comment. Um, but moving on, I mentioned that you only have one project, Black Mary. But I see you have Out of Line, and well, you have two versions of that, which is important. Um, Side
Yeah.
note, also to the creatives here, most likely the musicians, I want y'all to know that you can get multiple streams of income. Like, so you have the actual song, the recorded version, that's one stream. The acoustic live version, that's another stream. A live band version, that's another stream. And I can go on and on and on. But the different versions that you create of these songs are different streams of income. So don't limit yourself to that. Um, but yeah, so let's talk about Black Mary. It's a three-track EP.
Yes.
Um, you dropped it in 2022. I actually listened to it, I believe, I want to say about 3 weeks ago. I had to listen to it. I just wanted to get more acquainted with you. I like to listen to all my artist friends. I have a whole playlist with everyone's music in it that I find interesting.
Same.
Yeah,
I do that too.
yeah. No, seriously, I don't play with the support thing. If I really fuck with you, I fuck
Right.
with you. I'm not even gonna hide it. Um, and I don't know if I'm saying it right. Venta Black.
Vanta Black. So all the vowels are gone, but the consonants are there.
Got it.
I think only
Um,
one vowel is still there, but yeah, Vanta Black.
which is that? Yeah, you got the. I was like, hold on, I see an A, but no, you got it. You got it. Where were you at when you mentally when you
Oh,
created this project? Like, what was going through your mind?
okay, so my brother Eli Black had sent me the beats and he was like, Yo, Kaya, I'm working on three EPs,
Mm,
producing, people that I know could spit. It was phase one, The World Wonder. Shout out him, Big BX.
mhm,
So he was the first EP. I was the second EP. And D Nasty the Master out of Mount Vernon was the third EP. So I would say run those in that order. Those are
mm,
fire. Eli produced all of them. He featured on some of the track. I think Phases was the only one he didn't feature on, but I can't remember. I haven't listened to Exodus in a while, but it
mm,
fire, fire. So he was like, "Yeah, I already finished phase one, and I sent you Nasty his tracks. Here's your tracks." And he sent it to me. I want to say Christmas 2021. So I had more than enough time to write, but because okay, so a lot of people don't know this. I was always a rapper. I just never openly said it. Like I would rap other people's verses, like if a Left Eye came on, or
mm,
like a Missy or a Lil Kim or whatever, Queen Latifah. I would know they verses and I would like spit that like it was my own, like
mm.
for sure. But if you said, "Hey Kaya, can you freestyle for me?" I'd be like, "No," knowing
I
damn
hate that
well that
too.
I
I
could,
hate
but
when
I'm
people
like,
ask me to
"No."
freestyle.
And my mom didn't want me to be a rapper either, because like I guess she Lil Kim frightened her, not frightened her in
Frequency.
a way where it was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm scared. But I guess because like who she was, how she was
Mm,
very open about her, her sexual freedoms and like the
mm,
stuff she would do to people and whatnot. Like I get it, but also I'm a kid. I'm not gonna emulate it. I just like it.
mm, mm,
Um, so I had more than enough time, and he explained to me what he wanted the concept of the EP to be. Now, the Vanta Black song, he and I wrote Feel For You. No, I
okay.
didn't write Feel For You. I lied. He wrote Feel For You, and I was like, I'll sing it. But if it's rapping, I need to write my own thing. I cannot
Mm,
let anybody else
interesting.
touch my
That's
pen when
interesting.
it comes to the raps. You could put the vocals on me. You could tell me you want me to sing this, and I'll enhance it. But never touch my pen when it comes to rapping. Please don't, because it just doesn't feel right. It needs to feel real. Um,
I respect your vulnerability on that. But carry on. We'll get back
Thank
to that.
you. Not for real. But I was like, okay, I procrastinated. I had never listened to the song that he sent for the sample from Vanta Black. I was listening to that beat over and over every day again. I was like, I'll write something, and nothing would come. So one day I came to work and I was just like listening to the beat in my AirPod on repeat until I clocked out. And I walked home and I'm listening to the beat and I'm like, all right. And I just got in my zone. I pulled out my pen and I started pacing my kitchen floor. I'm pacing back and forth. I'm like, all right, but this has to hit. But like I'm freaking out. So and I go in my shower and I start like beatboxing to myself, making drum beats in my head. And I got the while the shower's going, I got my phone in the corner, like on the what if it was something. It was like on a mantle or something in my bathroom. And I'm like, all right, whatever comes out, I'm gonna record. And I'm just like saying words. I'm like, and then I said, Soul of the city, salt and light of this earth, well seasoned and well versed. I'm a black woman first. And I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. And I put it on hold until the day of the session. The day of the session,
Mm,
I had finished it. Like for procrastination is scary, and I'm really trying my best not to
very.
do that anymore. But like, I guess I was so scared of what would come out, and I finished it. I had two verses. I was like, I think I want a third, but I don't think a third will fit. And I wrote the third on the way in the Uber to the studio, and I got to Eli. I was like, "Hi, I got off of work, and I'm sorry I'm late, and I've been up all day, but I'm ready for this session."
Right.
And like, I was like, "Okay, here we go." And I got in the booth. I said, "Please turn the lights off." I I was just like, turn the lights off. And D Nasty was there, Mickey Hustles was there, Eli was there, my girl Cece Camacho was there,
Dang, you
and
just named a lot of legends.
legends for real, right?
Yeah.
Like for real, for real. And like I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, here we go. And I spit the first verse in one take, but then everything else, my second verse, I was like, screaming through it. And then when it finally finished, I was like, okay, can I go home now? Because I was so afraid. I didn't want to listen to it back. I didn't want to do nothing. I was just like, oh God, this is a lot. So, the mind state I was in, I was definitely second guessing myself until it dropped and people kept saying like, yo, can you sing that? Can you spit that? And I was like,
Mm.
sure, sure. It was a lot. So yeah. And it definitely grew me into the multifaceted person that I am now. And I'm still growing. Like I got a lot to learn. I got more growing to do, but I was definitely a bit unsure of myself. And now singing that song every time, it feels like God is in the room with me. It feels like I'm being affirmed. Like even when people don't know the words to the song, no, seeing people sing the words to like the songs that I have, or like even being like, yeah, like bopping along,
Beautiful.
I'm like, oh my
Beautiful.
God, like it's warm. It's such a fuzzy feeling. It's heaven for me. Like it's a natural high. And even like seeing people like, I don't know what that is, but that
What is that?
that is they'd be like that, and I'd be like, okay, that, sure.
Nah, but I feel you though. I'm not gonna lie. I think I want to say maybe 3 years ago. First off, let me just say that that I don't like calling it a pandemic. It's a scamdemic, but the
Pandemic,
lockdown.
scamdemic, ah.
Yeah, like the lockdown definitely played a huge part in where I am today because I've been going hard before that, and I had some day ones. I still have them, to this day, that show up and pop out, show love and stuff like that. But I remember the first time I did a show in New York after after they started opening stuff back up or whatever the case is, and people really started like paying attention and stuff to what I was doing or whatever. But there was this one show I did at HQ Lounge. That's the name of it. I did HQ Lounge and I performed Get High, which was
Hey.
to me, I enjoyed I enjoyed the fact that the song came a long way and this is exactly what I envisioned it doing, but I hated that this was the only song that people wanted to pay attention to. Like I have like a whole plethora of songs that I do. And I perform them too, these songs, I
Mhm.
perform. And I actually at one point I made it a thing where each time I perform, I'm always performing a different song. I never perform the same one. But then people started asking me, "How come you do that?" And it's like, well, yeah, I want y'all to know my whole discography. But if y'all gonna dive in, if y'all like Get High, I'm gonna perform Get High, and then y'all dive into the rest of the discography, hopefully. Um, but no, I was wrong. People still go for that song. It's crazy. But anyways, that at that show right there, um, I didn't realize it in the moment because like I have this thing. Or shout out to Shizzle Fashion, one of the artists that I've been closely involved with around that time. He asked me one day, I think it was after that show. He was like, "Yo, bro, where do you be at when you perform? Like, I was trying to get your attention, and like, you didn't look at me, you didn't react or nothing. So yeah, I black out when I perform. Like, I don't see anything in front of me. So if anybody's like talking to me, if anyone's reaching out to give me a dap or whatever, or the only time I'll snap back into it is if somebody comes on stage. I hate when people come on stage when I'm performing. Stand clear, let me do my thing, back up. If you're not a hype man, don't be on the stage with me. Real talk. Um, yeah, like I'm just like, very into that. Like I like to have my space, be in my element. I don't want anything to interrupt. But yeah, like when I looked at the video and I saw everyone had their phones out, everyone was singing along. People were finishing the lyrics before I even got there, and I was like, "Oh, geez, like I did it!" Like people were really tuning in,
I
like
love it.
so that was definitely like yeah, it was definitely a moment of success for me for sure. Like I was like, "Oh shit, like this is really really dope," and I think every artist can attest to it, where it's like that's the moment where they initially know they should be going way harder for sure. Um, we got another question. I mean, I have my own too, but somebody, I don't want to say your name wrong. Correct me if I do. I'm pretty sure this is a African. Adewale. I,
Adewale?
chill.
What's up,
Don't come for me. I'm
Wale?
sorry.
Oh, you know
Don't
I'm
come for me.
African. You know I'm gonna help,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's all right.
yeah. No, but I personally hate when people mispronounce my name and have no type of effort to correct it. So yeah. By the way, I want to say you are one of the first people who actually, without me telling you how to say my name, you said it correctly. So I appreciate that. Like people are like M Creve, Creve, or whatever the weird shit, but you definitely
Whoa,
popped out and you,
whoa.
yo, when I tell you, like I wonder if people had, English class growing up. Like, I wonder if that was one of the classes in your curriculum. But they wanted to know, when's your next music video? When are you doing a music video that
Next
they can
music
be a part of?
video. You just gonna have to tune in and see. Actually,
Ah,
you just have to tune
I
in and
feel
see.
that. I feel that. I definitely feel that. So you mentioned something. You'll happily sing someone else's song, but you don't want no one to touch your pen. Um, were you always like that? Like, were you always open to like singing someone else's? I mean, obviously you did covers and stuff, but like taking someone else's work, like someone writing for you outside of the rap, were you always open for that?
At first, no. I think the
Mm.
things that opened me to it was learning that other people can help you. I'm not a person to ask for help all the time. A lot of people be like, "Oh, it's because you're a Capricorn or whatever." It's partially that, but it's also because of the way that I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of stuff myself. Um, yeah, I was
Hyper
just, I
independence
was not,
is real. Let me just say that. It's very real, and a lot of us struggle from it. Like we do want the help, but it's like that. It's like kicks in. Like no, get out of here. Like
we end
we can do it.
up suffering, and it's kind of crazy. So, like, at first, I was like, no, I can write it myself. But I was like, you know what? There's instruments that I can't play that other people can play. And if they
Mm-hmm.
can help me with lyrics or instrumentation, composition, I'd be open to that. And, I don't want to say I saw it normalized in like Hollywood or in like major label artists. You know, there's nothing wrong with the writing camp, but how are you utilizing that? Like, what's really going on?
Right.
Are you just using them to get rich and not paying them their publishing? Are you like treating them like crap, or are you like being helped? But when it comes to the rap, like, no, 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 no. That's one of my soul's deepest expressions. Not to say that songwriting isn't, because I wrote a lot of my songs myself. But like, if somebody says, "Hey, I know this would fit you, but you give it a try," and I actually like it, I have to like it. So,
Sorry, I
no,
got a little background noise.
I got background
Um,
noise too. It's all right. You good?
yeah, I got kids in the house, so yeah, I try to. I be wanting them to be here, it's like so they can see, like they'll pass through the house and they'll see me conducting the interviews. Like this has been like they're a part of my journey. Like they well, the younger ones don't get to come to the studio and stuff like that. And when I do get to bring them to shows,
Like,
it'd be magical for me. But the older ones, so I'm an uncle of nine.
come on.
Yeah, I'm an uncle of nine. Shit, it's a whole lot of them. Motherfucker. But yeah, and one of my nephews, he has a full scholarship at Virginia State
Nice.
University. He does. Yeah, he's in the band. Like, so he plays live music and stuff for like the football teams, the basketball teams, and stuff like that. Yeah, so he's one of the ones that like took advantage of what I was showing him and stuff from a young kid. So I'm happy to see that it was full circle. And he got a full 4 year scholarship. You feel
Come
me? So off
on.
of that alone, so I was like, yeah, that's really dope. Like I didn't even get to go to college, and even going back to you saying that you only did 1 year, you was one and done with it, and to even go back to that, my college experience was it it never happened because like my mom, again, remember what I said, a lot of our parents were like just guessing and going along with it. My mom didn't know much about like the college paperwork. And mind you, she dropped out of school, to have my brother, my oldest brother. And so she never really finished school, like past high school. So I can understand like filling out college applications and stuff. That was like a real challenge for her. At the time, I'm like, yo, you being real selfish, man. Like, I was mad as hell at my mom that she didn't fill out the paperwork or none of that.
Hmm.
But by the time I got of age, because there was an age, I think it was like 20, it was 22 at first. It was 22, and then they raised it to 24. So that's what pissed me off.
Yes.
Yeah, so when they raised it, and mind you, I was 22 when they raised it, and I was pissed off. I was like,
Oh.
ugh. So that right there just kind of like I didn't want to go to college anymore after that, But I was working in the library, so I did get to like teach myself a lot doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I always thought college was a good thing. And then I listened to the song I don't think I've ever heard from J. Cole before. It's on the Friday Night Lights project. It's called College Boy. Um, but obviously he's talking about like, being on campus and messing with the women and stuff like that. But at the end of the song, he's saying like, college really like the connections that I've built in college. A lot of my friends that went to college, they say the same thing. Like the connections are what you should really be focused on when you go to college. So forget the tuition and how expensive that is, and forget the pressure of passing your classes. Definitely the connections are something you should want to, be a part of. Somebody just asked a question in the comments. Hold on, let me
Oh,
try to see if I can
Sassy.
find it.
I see.
Sassy, yeah, she's been going off in the comments. I see you. Shout out to you, Sassy, showing love. So that's gonna be one of my next questions too. But what song or beat inspired you to want to flow?
The World Is Yours by Nas. I love the jazzy. I love the Majimo sample. Like, it was so perfect.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Mine's was I Can. And mind you, I
Oh,
performed that at my stepping up ceremony. I believe I was what, in pre-K, first grade or whatever.
aw.
Whenever that happened.
Wait, no, we got
Yeah,
to be
but
like the same age. Hold on. Nah, that came out in second grade for me. We like the same age. Stop playing.
yeah, no, I think that was my introduction to hip hop, because my mom dated this dude who listened to the same three albums every time on his day off, real first. But my favorite part of that song was Nobody Says You Have to Be Gangsters Hoes. We more learn, more change the globe. And that's been
Get them
rent
children.
free.
Do your
It's been
thing.
rent free in my head. Like I just can't forget it. Like, so and I was involved in the streets for a while, but not like heavy, heavy. I was one of those kids who knew better. So I was like, even if I did dive into something I wasn't supposed to be doing, I quickly withdrew, especially once I started seeing shit happening, like getting the experience. I was like, all right, let me fall back.
Right.
So I've never been to jail. I have been arrested. I've never been to jail. I never did prison time. I did none of
Okay.
that. And frankly, a lot of the stuff that I was supposed to be arrested for, I wasn't. So that was a blessing for me. Like I was like, okay, and yeah, just growing up and getting out of that, I was like, all right, cool. Um, where do you see yourself in music 5 years from now? That's a dangerous question.
That's a
That's for
very
you,
dangerous.
though. That's for
That's
you.
a very dangerous question because I don't ever want to pigeonhole myself. So, dang. I don't know. I don't know. I hope I'm still alive. There's so much shit trying to take us out. I pray. I
Mhm.
trust I'll still be alive, but I really pray that I'm kept that long. Like, I really do. You know
I
what?
feel
Whoever
that. No, that was
asked that
heavy.
question, look,
Alive was
if
a great answer.
okay, what you want to be when you turn 25? Alive. I'm
Yeah, sure.
31 now. I'm alive, and I'm really just grateful to be here still. So much tries to take me out, but we motherfucking alive. So check with
Okay.
me in 5 years, and we'll catch up. But we're still gonna measure the growth day by day. We'll check in, but what is it, 2030? Check with me in 2030, and we see what's up.
That's dope. That's dope. So it's been a testament right here. And even going back to my last episode. So let's just say my last two guests have been a huge example of having I hate to say cult following, but keyword cult. But you definitely have a cult following. Every time you perform, I see a lot of reposts. Like you're reposting a lot of people's stuff. Like people are always there for you. And then when I got to see you on Thursday, I, side note, I hate when an artist goes up, they bring the crowd and the crowd leaves with them. I
I
hate that. I've been
don't
dealing
like
with
that
since the
either. I
beginning
don't
of
like
my
that
career.
either.
I've been dealing with since the beginning of my career. And every time people come to see me, when I notice there's a lot of people, I'll tell them,
Please
stay as long as you can.
stay.
As long as you can. I can understand you got to go to work. You might be tired because I came straight from work to your show and I was like falling asleep, like dozing off, like. But I was like, yeah, I got to get out of here. But so I understand those situations 100%. But if you come just for the person then to leave, you're kind of cheating yourself for the experience.
Yes.
You know, and I feel like once you start going to concerts to see like your favorite artist, you'll understand what I'm saying a lot more. Like to those of you that are watching and probably leave after, even after you perform, stop leaving. Definitely, you got to stay. You never know who you're gonna meet. Your next featured artist or your next supporter could be in the crowd. You never know. So it's cool that you want to get your 15 seconds of fame, but be fair to everybody. You know, if you can stay, if there are no crazy obligations that you have to tend to, stay your ass to the end of the show.
Facts.
Um, but yeah, so you have a cult following. How do you, how can I say this? How do you navigate that? Like, how do you welcome them, and how do you keep them like attached to you? Because some people literally just go for your 15 seconds of fame, like World MC, for example. A lot of people probably saw you there and was like, "Oh, that's cool," and after that, they never show up. So,
Right.
how do you keep these people around, and how do you interact with them?
Uh, I try to share myself, with discretion and with boundaries, of course, but I try to share myself. I try to share what I'm about. Uh, Especially when it comes to meeting other artists, like I don't really try to be too pushy. Like if you're trying to be friends too, that's cool. Like let's figure it out. Let's build. Like let's meet each other again. Like I usually do follow people. That's kind of dwindling now because I'm like, all right, I'm trying to again, I'm taking hiatus, but I'm also taking hiatus from my human self so that I can figure out who's truly in my corner, not
Mm,
just for the music, but for Kaya, the person, like
mhm,
the Kaya that some people probably went to school with or work with, or like, we've laid up in the house and like watched Netflix and laughed and like got high or whatever. Like
mm,
those moments, who's coming for the birthday, who's coming for like the moments when I'm sad and I need a hug. Like I'm trying to figure that out. So
mhm,
I'm trying to navigate like who my people are and how I can invite other people into my world while
mhm,
still, maintaining my privacy, maintaining my boundaries, and being a kind person, teaching others how to be a kind person by example. Like reminding people that there's genuine people in the world that, yes, they are artists, and artists can have an air about them, but like,
facts.
it's not to be like, these peasants, these poor people, these broke ass niggas that are broke ass bitches. Like, it's a real person doing this in front of you, and they're accessible right now. Like, I'm right in front of you. I'll still talk to you. Sometimes, like lately, I won't follow people back. I've been following people back if I actually connect with
Mm,
them, but like sometimes I won't, and that's just the real. But I will take time to respond to comments and DMs. I will take time to like talk to people. And I'll be honest about that. I'll be like, I can't follow everybody back. Guys, I'm at that mark. Guys, I'm trying to I've even unfollowed celebrities because I'm like, you know what? They don't know me. And that's okay. I can still support them. I,
We all talk. I've
or even just like
actually,
people that I may like I can still
I've actually
support you.
stopped following that. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Continue.
fine. Because we're in the same brain. It's all right. I get it. But
Yeah,
I've just
no. Did I cut you off again? My bad.
it's all right. No, we're on IG. The connection be connected. It's
Yo, for
okay.
real. That's what
It's
it'd be like the lag, and I'm like, okay, my fault.
no, you good, but yeah, it's just me trying to like find the direction that I'm going and tell the world like, hey, this is where I'm going. If you along for the ride and you really riding, then we out. But if not, it's all right. That's where we drop you off at. Or you'll come back on at another stop or whatever. Or maybe this is where it ends.
Hmm.
But
Real
it
talk.
truly surprises me to have a cult following. Truly, like,
Nah, for
yeah,
real. Uh, I agree with you on that.
yeah.
I I wouldn't say I have a cult following in the UK, but
You probably
um,
do. Nah, don't downplay. You probably do.
I I mean, well, I did a concert in June, and that kind of like showed. Literally everyone that showed up to the concert was everyone that I've met in the past 5 years since I've been traveling there. And some of them I didn't even know were even aware that I had the concert going on. Like I did my promo, I did everything. I reached out to people. Some people didn't even answer me or whatever the case is, but they showed up.
Look,
Well,
man.
okay, to shout out to DJ Rickman Holler. Yes, having fans is the weirdest feeling ever, and that's why I don't consider them fans. I say supporters. Like fans would definitely feel like fans. Like I hate the fan treatment. I don't like when people come up to me like, "Your music saved my life," or "Oh my God, I'm next to MCV." Don't do that to me. Like I'm a human being. I take the train. I take the bus. I still I get food from the deli just like everybody else. Like I still do normal things. Like I don't like when people put that spotlight on me. It's just so weird. And then like when people want to introduce their whole fucking family to me just because they think I'm famous, stop it. Like I'm not gonna remember your mother in like 20 minutes. Like, no disrespect to Mom Dukes, but I'm not gonna remember her. Like,
Right.
and sometimes I don't even be in the same place that long. Like Cali, I've only been there for one day. Like, don't introduce me to the whole Cali, and I don't know if I'm coming back
The
anytime
whole
soon. Like,
Cali.
yeah, so it's a struggle. It definitely is a struggle. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, once you identify like your core supporters, the people that are really happy to stick with you and support you, whatever you got going on. It could be a video shoot, could be a show, could be merch, whatever it is. They're gonna support you in those lanes, and they'll never overstep their boundaries. That it's always strictly support based.
Right.
So it's always dope. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Who's what are y'all doing?
It's
Sorry,
okay.
my bad. Um,
You
yeah, no
good.
one's
That was
cooking.
fun.
No one is cooking. What are y'all doing, man? Anyways, sorry. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna kick their ass. Um,
That's real. That's real.
that's the one thing about kids, though. They'll definitely remind you that they're there. Like, yeah, you tell them to be quiet, they're gonna remind you, hey, I'm here, I'm
Now making
breathing. So,
noise. What's
yeah,
up? I respect
yeah, like
this.
ain't nobody in here cooking, so why is the smoke alarm going off? But yeah. So that kind of brings us to the end of our interview. So what I like to do is open up the floor for you. Sorry to the guys in the comments that was asking questions. Sassy had a whole bunch of them. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of hard for me to scroll through these and pay attention at the same time. I got the ADHD too. So active listening is one of my strong suits, to be honest with you. But I try to, yeah, I try to limit my distractions. So sorry if I didn't get to answer your questions. But we have been at this for 2 hours. I know Kaya got some stuff that you want to do. I got some stuff I want to do. So I want to ask you, is there anything that you want to leave for the people that's watching. People do watch this a lot afterwards. So, side note,
Yes.
this episode and last episode, and maybe some in the past, but definitely, I've noticed that there was at least 10 people tuned in for like the entire duration of the thing. So, which that's pretty dope. That's something I've been working on as a podcast, getting people to stay tuned in.
Yeah.
But a lot of people definitely watch this afterwards. So, is there anything you want to leave with the people that are going to watch this?
Uh, come into this with an open heart and an open mind. Come into this with your humanity and leave with it too. Leave with your humanity and your dignity intact. Because that's always how I like to do things.
Dope.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
And
Everybody, that's kind of
battle
cool.
music, all of that. Support the artists while we're still alive and not when we're pushing flowers up. Not just when
Fact.
we're pushing flowers up. So yeah.
That's a fact. Everybody, this is Kaya Kulu.
Thank you
Thanks
for
to everyone that tuned in
having
for
me,
Kaya.
Reeve.
Thanks to
Shout
everyone
out
that's
to
been a part of
you.
this platform that showed Kaya love. I appreciate you guys always. And till next time. So I am working on getting a live location. So when I secure that, a lot of you guys I'll be spinning the block on. We'll be having like in person
Say less.
interviews as well. So yeah, so it's definitely coming this year for sure. But we're working that out now. And actually, I have someone that I've been talking to lately about that. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving me your time. Thanks for your vulnerability, your honesty. Thanks for your experience. Thanks for just everything, man. Your presence in general.
Thank you. I second that you're gonna get a place and it's gonna fall through the way that it's supposed to. Not even it's gonna fall through. It's gonna go up the way that it's supposed to go up. And I appreciate you just offering me a platform to be myself on with another artist. Thank you for being a genuine person and a genuine artist. And I look forward to more.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that, by the way, too. So again, going back to being secretly popular, I didn't have a spotlight. Um, So I created this platform to show other creators, not just music artists, the spotlight. I want you guys to shine. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to feel like there are people watching you and you have an audience and things of that nature. So that's what this is about.
Thank you.
No doubt. Appreciate you.
Take care. Yo, thank you again for having me. This was fun.
No doubt. No doubt. Till next time.
Bye, guys.
Oh, you gotta exit. Sorry. All right, guys. That's the end of the episode. Going live with the MC. I don't even know who I have next week. But I got two dope guests next week, and I will be making that announcement. What's today? Saturday. Tomorrow, I'll be posting the flyer for who we got on Wednesday, and Wednesday night, I'll post the flyer for who we got on Saturday. So I do this every Wednesday and Saturday for those of you guys that have found this platform and like what you see. Every Wednesday and Saturday, I have a new guest. So stay tuned. Give a follow if you like it. If not, it's okay. Nothing personal. Peace out. Till next time. Oh wow, I just caught this before I ended the live. Yes, so if I find interest in you, I don't take requests. So I don't want anyone to request it. I want this to be purely genuine. If I see you and you're doing something that I feel like the world should see, I would definitely invite you onto the platform for sure. But thanks again, guys. I'll see you on Wednesday.